The time has come, boys and girls and everyone in between. CyberPowerPC Extreme Gaming Series 2017 Grand Finals. OpTic Gaming, Misfits, and they are ready to go. Shortly. We do, of course, have to get through the veto stage first. My name is Scrawny. I am joined by Seaside, and we will be taking you guys through this Grand Finals.
We will be your guides in the darkness and the love when you need it. I think, well, maybe. Maybe I speak for myself. I don't know. I can't really speak for Connor. But this should definitely be a good series. I mean, it's going to be it's been a clean run so far for OpTic. Haven't dropped a single BO3. Haven't dropped a single map. It's been clean. They 2-0'd CLG Academy, 2-0'd Splice. Misfits, on the other hand, they too have had a pretty clean run. 2-0'ing Denial, 2-0'ing Ghosts, and they will meet in the grand final. Two of the favorites. I think everyone said coming into this, you said it. I heard you say it. I heard other people saying it in chat, so now I'll say it. Two of the favorites to meet in the grand final. Now, I think other people would still say OpTic Gaming are still looking like the better team to take this, but, you know, I'm optimistic for Misfits. Shazam's been playing well. Davidovec and Amanek are monsters, so there's possibility.
Yeah, there's just been frag capabilities so clearly being shown here by Misfits, and I think that you could argue this might be an actual close one, considering Jason R's more recent departure from the OpTic lineup, their inclusion of Hazed yet again as a fifth now. Again, he does play as their coach, or rather function as their coach, and so he is very familiar with the actual structure of the team, with the decision-making and the placements of players and whatnot. So it's not like a complete stranger has now just jumped into this party. It is still OpTic, just on a not-so-common player. Misfits going to go ahead with their ban, and they're actually going to take Cobble out of the equation. Again, a map that I think we've seen Misfits play quite frequently, but for whatever reason, they decide to remove it. Maybe having seen how they played versus Splice earlier, Misfits didn't feel comfortable allowing for OpTic to get that through. Remember, of course, that there is only one ban in this veto system. It is ban, pick, and a randomly selected third map from the three remaining maps. So, again, Misfits drop Cobble. OpTic's going to get a chance to remove something from the pool. We've seen them play Nuke. We've seen them play Overpass, or at least allow that to go through. They have been very diverse in their map pools. So to see them ban Inferno makes sense. We haven't seen that yet this weekend from them. There are the bans. Cobble's gone, and as is Inferno.
Yeah, diversity is definitely the way to put it. OpTic Gaming have played Train, Nuke, Mirage, Cobblestone. They haven't repeated maps once so far. Now this pick from Misfits, it can really vary. They can go back towards Nuke. Now they've played Nuke twice so far. They've won both of it. Both times it's been their pick. So I don't think anything is really going to change here. They looked really good against Ghosts on Nuke. Would not be surprised in the slightest if they pick this up. But you're not going against Ghosts anymore. You're going up against OpTic, who, on the opposite side of the coin, have done well on Nuke. Now, I don't know how much you want to take away against the CLG Academy match on Nuke, but outside of that, the last time they played Nuke, it was actually LAN against Liquid, and they lost 16-5. So it's not the strongest map for OpTic right now. It's not their most comfortable map. They don't have too many wins on it. They're not feeling too comfortable on it. So I think this is going to be a Nuke pick for Misfits. I don't think there's anything else they can really rely on too comfortable for their own pick.
No, you're right. I think if anything, maybe we'll see the Train choice. I feel like it's definitely going to be either Train or Nuke, or an unexpected decision of the other three. Again, Train's going to be one of these maps where I think Shazam can very much prevail on that primary op. It's just a map where he individually plays quite well. I have fond memories of him on that map anyways. And so we could justify that. We could justify Nuke, although we know OpTic have been keen themselves to playing that, which is actually pretty cool, actually. I would say that we're starting to see more and more teams from the North American region go for that Nuke pick, or at least allowing for it to kind of stay in the pool and be chosen if need be. You could definitely argue that Cobblestone was always kind of North America's Nuke, where if you compare it to Europe, Nuke is much more prevalent and Cobblestone the opposite. But now we're kind of seeing a more rounded map pool here in NA. You've got teams like Cloud9 who will play Nuke, CLG will play Nuke, OpTic, Misfits, it's all there. So it's definitely Liquid as well, actually. We'll definitely go for there.
You know what, though?
What?
I am surprised Misfits didn't ban or they did ban Cobble. Excuse me. I was gonna say I'm surprised. I'm not surprised by that ban. They are 8-14 on it. But you're right. I think every team in NA can at least play Cobblestone, and they go for Cash. Now
didn't see that coming.
That's a switch up. Now their record right now on Cash is 9-8. At least recorded matches on HLTV. That's definitely something we haven't seen from Misfits, and that's in the immediate train pick from OpTic. So I feel like this got really interesting without having Nuke in the pool. I guess maybe they're saying, you know what, OpTic Gaming have already seen us play Nuke twice so far in this tournament. Let's switch it up. Let's take it somewhere where they might not be expecting it. So a Cash pick, it's an NA map pretty much. A lot of NA teams like it. I mean, as far as OpTic goes, they don't mind Cash. It's not one of the maps they play consistently, but it's kind of like this NA map where if you played enough, you can start to jive on it. They've beaten Energy on LAN recently. Outside of that, they don't play it all that often. So I think this is a nice pick for Misfits. It slides into their comfort zone, but also kind of catches OpTic off guard, who may have been expecting a nuke.
Yeah, I think that this is a interesting map pool with the Cash pick. That, to me, is going to be the biggest question mark moving forward to this BO3. Quite cool to see OpTic go for Train, knowing Misfits' ability and kind of decision-making process on it before, that they themselves will go for it. Although I'm very worried for Mirage in terms of Misfits. Sure enough, we watched Misfits dominate Ghost on it, but we also watched some crazy double op setups earlier versus Splice for OpTic. We'll get back into discussing the game before we give you guys one last chance. That's right, we're selling out, and we are heading you guys to cyberpowerpc.cevo.com/predictions, but we're doing it now because this is the last opportunity to enter the contest before the game starts. Once the game goes live, and map 1 begins, you will no longer have the chance to enter, so do it, and do it now. Again, just head to the link at the top of your screen. You guys will be prompted with your chance to make your own predictions, and then, of course, that will give you the opportunity of potentially winning some really cool CyberPowerPC gaming jerseys, keyboards, mouse pads, all that jazz. Now, this one's not closing just yet, but there's also a general giveaway for everybody and anybody to enter yourself in. If you're already going to be on cyberpowerpc.cevo.com, just replace the predictions with the word giveaway, and you guys can then enter in your chance to win a video card, some solid state drives, or a mechanical keyboard as well. So you're going to be there, or at least you should be, and while you're there, check out both these links. It's definitely worth your time. You just never know. I'm not lucky. Maybe one of you will be. But without further ado, we're going to get into the team breakdowns. First and foremost, the arguable favorites of the weekend, OpTic Gaming.
Yeah, OpTic Gaming, you know him, you love him, and there's one change. That is Jason R., who has stepped down from the active roster. Standing in is Hayes, the coach, who has played his fair share of matches as well, maybe not just on OpTic, but going back to CLG. So it's going to be Rush, Nafly, Tark, Hayes, and Mixwell. And if you're wondering where these stats are coming from, that is their stats so far from this tournament alone. And they're all looking pretty good. OpTic's, maybe not have had the strongest of opponents. This will be the hardest, opposition for them so far. But they have played relatively well so far throughout the tournament. And the other team they will be going up against is Misfits, the mixed roster with 2 French players.
Yes, that's right. Davidovic and Amanek now joining this North American organization under the wing of the beloved Sean Gares. Now, of course, the primary op for Misfits comes through from Shazam, and then Hunter Sick Mims is going to be the last rifler of the lineup. One of these young talents who was kind of praised not too long ago, I would say, as one of the most up-and-coming players. And again, he has definitely been holding his own here. I still put him in line of, say, like a Relics for Renegades or like a Twist for Liquid. That's where he holds his own in my heart. But that is, of course, the lineup for Misfits. Again, 2 Frenchmen of Davidovic and Amanek had really come to form throughout some of the games this weekend. Shazam as well, who is now on screen in the head-to-head statistical comparison of Oppers. That is right. Mixwell, the Spaniard on the side of OpTic. You know him, you love him. And he does currently hold higher stats for efficacy, kill death spread, and ADR. Now, of course, take these with a grain of salt. We remember, of course, that OpTic got the opportunity to play versus CLG Academy. That is a premier team from North America that put up a good fight, 11 rounds on Nuke. but ultimately lost 2-0. Just in general, I'd say Shazam has had some really good games. We did just see him put up serious numbers versus Ghost Gaming, and maybe that'll be the case moving forward. But do we have another head-to-head for you guys? Because that should be the in-game leaders of both of these lineups.
Yeah, it's always nice when your in-game leader can put up some numbers, and Hayes has really done a nice job at being a fragging power for OpTic throughout this tournament. Again, as we mentioned, take maybe a couple matches or a couple maps here with a grain of salt, but you can see the numbers that Hayes is putting up. Positive, he's putting up good headshot ratio, his KD is up there, his ADR just below 80, which is significantly different on the flip side of the coin for Sean Gares. Now, they've had a bit more of a difficult kind of run, but Sean Gares is still doing all right when it comes to ADR. They're putting up numbers, and it's going to be interesting to see if both of these players can continue their performance, their fragging. And that's really critical. You know, the little piece, yes, it comes down to the IGLs working you around the map, being like the leader of the chessboard, moving you around where you want. But if your IGL can have impact, put up numbers on the board, and be consistent at it, I mean, that makes a world of difference. So we're going to throw it to a quick commercial break. We appreciate your patience, and we will be right back to start this grand final off between OpTic Gaming and Misfits. Sit tight.
And so we are back, and we are about to start this matchup. That is right, OpTic Gaming, Misfits, CyberPowerPC Extreme Gaming Series 2017. And my name's Scrawny. I'm joined by Seaside. We're going to walk you guys through this game as we are now into the pistol. Without further ado, I welcome each and every one of you to what will be a fantastic Grand Finals.
Should be action-packed. First one is Cash. And Misfits pick. We were kind of leaning towards the nuke route. They took it a completely different way. So this definitely is up in arms. It's very, very... You know what? I don't even want to say it's one-sided. It's definitely either team can take this. OpTic game looking strong. They continue to reign supreme over NA teams. And this is online after all, so never count out Misfits. As we're going to be jumping right into the pistol, there's a smoke and a molly out on Amanek, and it's a quick play from Misfits towards mid. They're going to try to charge down Catwalk here. And they're thinking about pushing all the way up through Highway, actually. So Rush is going to play this from single box, but to counter this, Mixwell's pushed out Squeaky. They don't think it's A. It is coming B.
Yeah, we've already got OpTic coming in for the rotation. That's going to be sick. Dead, thanks to Naf. Hayes' nade drops Sears as well. So that's a great start here for OpTic. They take the man advantage. The bomb still able to cross to the site, though. Devaduvic plants it. And this is Mixwell coming in from the flank, popping the heads of Amanek. Shazam trading it with one of his own, but Nafwai takes it back. Devaduvic with a breath of life finds one frag, but in a 1v3, what more can he do? Nothing. Rush hits the headshot, Nafly takes the defuse, and OpTic Gaming start off with the CT pistol.
That was a wonderful read from OpTic Gaming. They realized that we have no one in mid. There's a smoke used early from Misfits, which signifies sending players over booster coming out of mid right off the get-go. So to contrast that, to try to figure something out, what can be going on, what is Misfits up to, they send Mixwell pushing through Squeaky. And as soon as he pushes through here, there's no one in A main. He spots no one outside of A main. They didn't do a late boost or anything. Misfits, they kind of get pinched. The call comes through from Mixwell. Immediate rotations from OpTic, who just use their numbers to their advantage. Now Misfits do get a bomb down, so it is just going to be upgraded pistols, a smoke and a molly, while OpTic Gaming will rock out the FAMASas and Devaduvic. Just before that smoke blooms, we'll find the head of Mixwell. So that's a good way for Misfits to start this one off.
Yeah, great Deagle play already. So now we're going to see Misfits just start to group themselves up. If they just play the 5 men together and the execute towards the site, then who knows what they could get done here. OpTic Gaming going to play very reserved as they do not want to go down to the 3 versus 5. That rifle currently being controlled to the bottom of mid, but Misfits want nothing to do with it. Sean Garris still hangs onto the smoke and the Molotov. That could be thrown through the window, and that's exactly where he's currently preparing. So Hayes, reading into this one, smoke's going to chuck the nade over. That chips Sean ever so slightly. Nafly spotting ankles, and he takes down 2. Excellent spray as Hayes is able to grab 1 frag. Tarek coming to bolster the defense in a 3 versus 2 for OpTic. Shazam next to the vents is the last man to fall, and that's Misfits incapable of executing in. OpTic convert that first point and now have themselves a fancy 2-0 to start with.
And they get the first blood towards White Box. Try to capitalize on their numbers, but without any armor, only a smoke and a molly. They can't get much rolling for themselves. Shut down from Nafly and Vents, and a good job from Hayes to just stay alive there. So 2-0. Misfits will buy up here the AKs thanks to the bomb plant. A UMP comes out on Sean Garrett so we can pick up the utility. And that is an early smoke thrown out towards Z. And OpTic Gaming will return with their own smoke. Of the typical pre-nades as Amanek, meanwhile, finds OpTic Gaming pushing. He finds 2 players towards B. So OpTic Gaming, a stack towards B, and Amanek's all over it, while Devaduvic, in the meantime, the 2 Frenchies will have frags all over the place. As OpTic still have 2 members towards B, though. This, you know what, I would still not sleep on Hayes in his position. Although that smoke, when it dissipates, may be in some trouble.
Yeah, he's going to get quelled now as Sean takes that frag. So Rush 1v5 comes up with a headshot to Shazam. But Sick will return it quickly. That's going to be Misfits with a opening round thanks to the early gun. All made possible by the bomb plant and the pistols. So immediately we find OpTic losing a round and putting themselves in a very difficult spot. I mean, we have sub $2,000 for 2 of their players. Mixwell sits evenly on 2K. Sure, Naf and Tarek can buy into this, but it's going to leave the rest of the team at a disadvantage. Nafly actually opts to go for glass cannon. Not only the primary opper, not the secondary opper, but Nafly being arguably the 3rd in line, decides to get himself the big green cannon. 3 pistols here for the rest of OpTic. Full gun round for Misfits. Unless Naf comes to life or Tarek hits it big, this should be Misfits with a conversion.
That's a weird choice for me. I really find that weird. Even if you have money for the op, as being, as you said, the 3rd in line in most situations, I think you'd go for the rifle, get utility, maybe drop a UMP and get a UMP himself, a little more firepower for his teammates, but glass cannon up, and now they know where it is, Misfits. So they can try to isolate him here. They're going to throw the molly towards Forklift. They will have smokes for this. Snapfly's going to be looking over top of them as Rush in the site with the help of Mixwell starts to find some frags. Six going to be jumping to the molly and shut down from the 5-7 or Rush. Snapfly still waiting, hoping they push through this smoke, if not show some face. But OpTic Gaming have done a nice job of holding on to this. Misfits, a little disjointed.
Yeah, this is a great hold on the A site, but Amanek going to breathe a breath of life into the retake for the T side in the sense that they need to re-pick up that bomb. They need to keep pushing in. And Nafly is going to die here. Shazam hits the headshot thanks to the AK. Keeps coming in, but Rush with the swing out wide takes it back by 1. 2 versus 2 on the table. Tarek next to E-Box, but there comes Devaduvic with yet another kill. So it is just down to Rush. He already has 2 kills in this round. Would need the 1v2 4K clutch to make this magic happen. Spots Amanek, knows where Devaduvic is, and he hits himself the headshot. So 15 seconds for Amanek to plant, and Rush will lose the duel. Misfits able to convert that point despite a sloppy entry.
Damage dealt. Now, if Nafly gets 1 frag with that glass cannon off towards Squeaky, that's the round 1 for OpTic Gaming. They do a nice job of just subduing the initial take for Misfits. The smokes get thrown, the mollies come out, and OpTic hang on. Rush in sight, Mixo with a D. They makes Misfits sweat a little bit, but then it immediately gets turned back on its head as the 2 Frenchmen are able to work together beautifully. Rush almost with a clip there. It would have been a 4K. Instead, now OpTic Gaming going to be sent down a couple P250s, 3 USPs. And Misfits will take what's given to them. Free mid control. That molly hit the corner of the little vent there, so that's an awkward molly bounce back. I should have cleared a white box. As Shazam will now push up as that dissipates. Flash for him to peek it. As OpTic are just doing a little bit of an A stack with 1 player on B, hoping to find at least 1 or 2 frags at least.
Right now, the setup for Misfits seems to be looking like it's got its eyes set on B. We saw them earlier on go for mid control and then fall into the B site quite quickly, but look at this. They give enough time for OpTic to get ambiguous on their defense. They are going to start to rotate players towards CT spawn, just spreading things more evenly so that once the Misfits give them some kind of a cue to work off of, OpTic Gaming can then just flood themselves back to either side. But it seems like they're content to stack the A site. Mixwell gets spotted thanks to Sean Gares. That is the bomb carrier now moving forward. Again, it is just pistols, so the grenade advantage should be enough to clear out the bomb site. Sean's going to come barreling forward, hits the headshot to Mixwell. Devaduvic with 1. Sure, Tarek responds with a kill off with a pistol, but he has been able to retreat to his death. Shazam will find him. So Nafly also quelled. That is Misfits to the 3-2 start.
We may see an upgrade on the UMP, perhaps. Maybe they'll just keep it in cycle. OpTic Gaming will buy up. It's going to be rifles across the board. No money for get the ops out. And Rush will have utility. He'll get the kit. We will see Hayes buy up momentarily. He's going to go for the FAMAS so he can get that full utility. If he goes M4, he won't have full, plus a kit, as Nafly will just have a smoke. So there will be a little bit of utility out from OpTic. No mollies. Very light on the smokes. Very light on the flashes. They do have the nades behind this, so that can deal some damage. As Shazam gets sent towards B main with the help of Amanek. This is just a very spread default from Misfits. But what I find interesting about this default is they have no one watching for the mid-main push. There's no one holding for mid. They assume OpTic Gaming are going to smoke it off and not push it. Now, that's a lot of respect to your opponent to assume that. And that is just how the Misfits default works out, as they will boost someone late now. Devaduvic will go up, and Amanek will make sure the mid is clear. But Tarek is kind of in a trouble position. He can cause a little bit of havoc towards Misfits.
Tries to dodge the flashbangs that never come over, but Devaduvic with the wide swing takes his head. So opening frag goes the way of Misfits, while Mixwell himself trades it back immediately. So again, mid in the hands of the T side. Bomb still creeping its way through A main. This means they're going to try to split into the A site, but relying on the highway opener. Mixwell and Rush already attentively holding these angles. Devaduvic with a bit of chip damage will get a frag in his face. That's near enough to take him down. It's Mixwell with the finisher. Still 6 sprays for that second kill to Rush. 2v2 is what we're left with. The bomb now on A site. And Sick back behind the white box as Hayes comes out from smoke. He's trying to shoot it. He knows. And so Hayes picks up the frag. Can the IGL of Misfits clutch this out? 1v2.
He has a flash to his name. And some presence on the site is Nafly's running up. Is he going to peek before Hayes tries to get there and helps him out? He did show a little bit of presence. They're both going to push into the site now. Sean Garrett is working around red box. Will spot Nafly, can't land the shot. Nafly swings, and Naf will win it on 3 HP as Hayes is already jumping on the bomb. It was close for Sean Garrett. If he finds that frag, it's a 1v1. Instead, we're going to be sitting at a 3-3 scoreline, a tied scoreline. As we'll see Misfits get a strong buy. Will include an op if they so wish, and Shazam will buy it. OpTic Gaming will be opless for another round here. They'll have rifles across the board. No one can afford it. And it's going to be another round where they're going to be a couple players will be light in the pockets. And by a couple, I mean pretty much just Mixwell. Mixwell and Hayes, so a couple's two. So there you have it. Mixwell and Hayes won't have too much. The other members will kind of make up for the mollies and nades. They'll use a little bit of it early, as I like this from OpTic. A little mid-aggression, switching up what they do in their default setups. And it looks like a counter boost is on the cards, actually.
Yeah, consider how late that Misfits actually played their boost on the T side. This is a fantastic read from OpTic. They've realized that there is no early presence off of Misfits, so why not try and exploit that? Over towards the A site, we've got Rush just cowering back from Squeaky Door, dueling versus Sick. The bomb here for Misfits as well falls away, but because of that aggression from the door, look how OpTic give up that mid control. They forfeit it entirely back into the hands of Misfits, and 3 players find themselves dedicated towards A. At this point, we're about as open as the first 10 seconds. Nobody really assuming much map control, barring Misfits, who have Devaduvic prying towards mid. He is just going to be clearing out vents with the help of the utility and hoping to catch a CT. Ooh. And he does. Nice shot onto the head of Tarek, who was just waiting by white box. This is a great opportunity now for Misfits to continue into B. Hayes being removed off of Highway leaves the rotation so far away, and it is one defender towards the B site in the form of Nafly.
Throws both his flashes out, trying to find a favorable 1v1, just can't land the shots. He has to fall back now, and both positions are smoked off from tree to heaven. And Misfits yet to lose a member. The bomb's going to go down. Devaduvic going to continue to hold that tree smoke. As they think they're running back to A, they're trying to save. As Sick makes some presence there, he'll take one of them down. OpTic Gaming are going to try to save that M4 and AK out on Nafly. Sick's done a nice job of dropping one more member for the road. As Mixwell is going to pick up an AK of his own, sit in A main, while Nafly will set himself back quad/fence. I think he's just going to try to stay around towards the site. So this round is going to go Misfits' way. They'll be up 4-3. OpTic Gaming's money not going to be looking too hot. That'll be one round loss, and they're all down at $700, $350. This is a reset going into round 8.
So that's why it's crucial that these last 2 OpTic players stay standing, which they will. Misfits content not with hunting, and instead just keeping their own economy in a healthy state. So Misfits have themselves that 1-point lead. It's a hard reset versus OpTic, but they're able to move those 2 weapons forward. So that's really the silver lining, however thin it may be. We'll see if the rest of OpTic decide to invest around this.
The wall bang. They're going for the body bang. No one's going to be there. He even delays it a little bit. Tark is in mid, he is just shoulder peeking this, so they're not going to invest anything. It's just 3 silenced USPs around these 2 AKs. Naf won't even buy any utility, nor will Mixwell. They're saving for the next round. Devaduvic will break vents. There's a molly underneath him, so he's just going to molly back checkers without his teammate. As Hayes does alone on B. Crosshair placement for the double dink, but he's going to have a molly now in sight, so he can't really go anywhere. He's stuck, and even a molly on his position, he'll slowly burn. And he will, as through the wall, though. Nafly shows up, Mixwell finds Sick, and now the AKs are here to party. They're here to shut down Misfits. As Tarek gets caught pushing, Sean Garrett jumps out of the vent, so now they're committed. And both AKs from OpTic Gaming are on this, at least on this site, on this side of the site.
Yeah, they're starting to reshuffle themselves, though. That's Nafly falling back to the bottom of heaven. Rush, of course, is still coming in from mid, but he doesn't have a gun to duel off of, so he's just waiting for a window of opportunity. A window that could be cracked open thanks to the other players of OpTic. Here he comes. He drops onto Shazam and takes himself the frag. Amanek securing B main, but there's Sean with a headshot to Mixwell, leaving Naf 1v2. He's crouching on an off angle, and he sees the shoulder, hits the shot, but Sean takes the trade, and Misfits find round 5.
Almost gorgeous from OpTic Gaming. I said they're on this side of the site. What I meant is they're on this side of the map. They had a player in tree and the AK in heaven. They both worked together beautifully to find a frag apiece, and even gave some time for Rush to find the op that was posted towards tree. They make it closer than that perhaps should have been, as OpTic are going to go for some upgraded pistols, not going to fully invest. They know it wouldn't be the strongest of buys. As Rush, who had a bit more cash in his teammates, will get armor and a flash. Misfits looking good on the T side. Shazam's going to get boosted right off the get-go. I think they've spotted Hayes a little bit towards sandbags. That Molly's even going to force him back. But he knows the angles. He knows if there's a player boost playing where Shazam is, he won't spot him from there. But now he does as Shazam swings. Another Molly to force Hayes out. And he should be taken care of in a moment. There you have it. Sick. Feels a little antsy. Will pull the trigger and find Mixwell through the door. As this is going to be a pretty clean round for Misfits. Not too much risk here.
Just rush left, and he finds at least one headshot. Makes it 2. But then he walks into the lying weight of Shazam, who is going to find that last kill and pick Misfits to 6. So here we have it. Thanks to that hard reset amidst the 6 from Misfits, it is a tough spot for OpTic to find themselves in. But immediately they transition into the double op setup. Now, Seaside, we saw this earlier today versus Splice on Mirage, and my goodness, was it impressive. Mixwell in the primary, Tarek with the second, and this CT-sided double op setup was just superb. So we'll see if they can translate that success here onto Cash versus a whole other monster. Misfits having currently doubled the score of their opponents and nearly finding that opening frag, but Tarek gets the best of Sick. The flashbang holds them back, and this buys time for the rotation to arrive.
Rush is in heaven. That Molly's going to force him forward. He will get the spray, but burn alive for it. But Hayes through the smoke is going to challenge. Trades all over the place in favor of OpTic. But look at the HP on Tarek. He's back sight. He is down to 19 while there's a player heaven. Ominek's going to try to rotate out through useless, but Ominek's down to 7. So damage has been dealt for OpTic Gaming. It's just a matter of cleaning up these last 2. As Mixwell is going to be holding towards Highway. Sean Gares may peek this in the timing. Mixwell doesn't spot it. Now he knows it's a possibility as Squeaky gets open. Ominek's going to peek. He will go down. Mixwell now has a good idea where Sean Gares is coming from, and even through the edge of the box, he'll hit that shot. As OpTic Gaming will get up to 4. And the double ops are starting it off well. Scrawny, you said it. It's kind of a beast to mess with. Tarek gets the openers, and Mixwell finds the final 2.
I mean, the double op setup is something that we've kind of seen re-emerge in relevance as of late. Again, I kind of talked about this earlier, how most notably G2 with Kenny and Shocks have really kind of put that back on the table. And while OpTic have always had the heavy op presence of Mixwell, I don't remember them having this consistent of a double op setup. We are 10 rounds deep when we see it this time, but versus Splice earlier, it was out by the first gun round. So it's definitely a change that's been noteworthy, seeing as how successful they've been. Mixwell getting aggressive towards Squeaky's already going to fall back as he sees that T-side presence. Hazed, meanwhile, another forward position from OpTic, just trying to pry towards mid, and that's where Misfits start to actually boost over. Hazed might get a bit of an audio cue on this, and either way, he lies in wait. Amanek up and over.
He's just going to tuck himself now into the cubby. As Rush is just going to sit here, lead a teammate's flash. That's never good. But it's not like Misfits have given too much away as to noise, as to utility usage. Ominek's just going to wait for his players to make the first contact in A main. Then he's going to try to kill the rotator if anyone tries to go highway. But here comes the execution from Misfits. Devaduvek jumps up onto that wood and spots the player on scaffolding and finds a second shot into Rush. The spray isn't good. But that's 2 entries as Sick is going to find one for himself. And there you have it. Ominek, the player that got boosted, was lying in wait, waiting. Just in the shadows will pounce, and Misfits, they'll plow their way into the site. A nice entry combo from Devaduvek and Sick. As Tarek's just going to try to save the ops. OpTic can't hold on.
No, that's it. It works out the first time, but not the second. So, unfortunately for OpTic, if we take a look at the scoreboard, you're already going to see, of course, that they ate that hard reset following their victory in round 6. And after the 10th round, that is the exact same thing that occurs. So we've had a bit of a pattern so far being put forth by Misfits, and it comes at the cost of the economy from OpTic. Hopefully, for their sake, Tarek can go ham in the next one. Maybe chuck that op over to Mixwell, or somebody comes to life individually, because they're certainly not going to have the cash for the whole team to be competitive.
Well, 7-4. We'll see a little bit of an investment from OpTic. Some upgraded pistols. Maybe Mixwell will get something. No, he's just going to hold on. Tarek will hold on to the op himself. So we've seen this a couple times where OpTic will keep one player alive. Barely anything invested for their teammates as they're going to plan to buy into the coming rounds. And they've come weary of Hayes' tricks towards mid. Though Molly sandbags, not messing around. And look at this player pushing up already. Sick has no fear as he pushes up highway by himself. maybe he should have a little bit of fear as he'll get shut down. Mixwell with the op, finds Devaduvek, and he's going to continue to hold towards A main. Misfits kind of put on the brakes as soon as they realized the op was here, and Rush, full silence USP kill on Amanek. This round becomes now doable for OpTic Gaming, with Rush's positioning towards Vent, and Mixwell's rotatable position in towards Tree. They have one smoke. Rush spots this, damage dealt as he falls back. And Mixwell can catch this player. They're not ready for him to be here. Sean Garrett goes down, and it's all in Shazam in a 1v2.
He's got a minute to play off of, though. Mixwell comes out, but Rush will take the kill, and OpTic making it happen with only the Catalyst op. The pistol play from Rush there towards mid nets himself that AK, forces Misfits into the 2 versus 2, and is enough to seal the deal. So while the CT side of OpTic was kind of in question based on the economic resets, that round in and of itself just turns things on their head. We can see Misfits come in with a full reinvestment of their own, everybody buying up what they can, and that leaves them with lackluster firepower, but also utility. Amanek and Devaduvik are just going to be the rifles. Sean has the Tech 9, and Naf, with the op, opens onto Shazam. There's been so many op players coming in from OpTic throughout the day. It's just very impressive to watch. They've changed that role between Rush, Mixwell, Naf, and Tarek. Very awesome to see. I mean, just convincing from OpTic. The ability to change roles on the fly like that is kind of a evidence of their depth in terms of talent. Regardless, it is the 5 versus 4, and Amanek spots the bodies towards mid. His shot rains out, but it goes astray as Mixwell continues to fight.
You also can't forget about the auto snipers we saw on Train against LG Academy that Hayes pulled out. I don't know how much you want to read into that, but that was a thing at one point. OpTic Gaming get the opener from Nafly. Rush is just going to sit in towards lockers as Mixwell's playing a very risky angle, and they have 2 ops now towards mid. Nafly will hold towards mid-main peak, while Mixwell will be tasked from sandbags to worry about boost. And if Nafly misses a shot, Tarek's here to cover him. As Devaduvek finds Hayes, and Tarek immediately drops out of vents, not a single moment wasted, and he will just peek and get demolished by Devaduvek. He finds both players towards B. He'll smoke off towards Tree, as Mixwell is going to try to find them crossing into the site. But it looks like Misfits have a good read on what's pretty much playing out right here. Oh, that's bomb.
That is bomb down on the site, so now the rest of the T side has to come in. Remember, Rush behind enemy lines right now could be a real thorn in the offense of Misfits. Devaduvik tries to cross, but that's where Naf will catch him. Again, the ops from OpTic paying dividend as they fire off and connect to the chests of Misfits. That is OpTic closing the distance down to only 1 round. 6-7 the score, and OpTic turned this away. I mean, they could actually walk away with that 1-point lead if they continue with success, and it should be here in the 14th, seeing as Misfits have only pistols to play off of.
Yeah, this definitely should be 7-7, and then Misfits are going to get a buy into the round 15. Devaduvek goes for his typical deagle on these ecos towards white box. Rush is going to sit here, hold towards the forklift run out of A main, while he has support from Nafly with the op. So not much openings across the map for Misfits with these pistols. Relatively safe from OpTic with Rush holding Squeaky, Nafly holding for the wide swing from A main. They have a couple rifles on A, couple rifles B, and here they come out. Rush gets the opener. There's Nafly towards fence. He needs some support, though. Rush can't wide swing in time, as Mixwell, though, will spin around from highway and deal significant damage, and it will be a relative easy cleanup, only losing one of the ops, which will get picked up. So nice 3K from Rush against those pistols with no armor. But now is the final rifle round of the first half, and Misfits have done a decent job on the T side. They'd love to end with 1 round up, but this is as close as you can ask for in a half, as OpTic will keep the double ops. Misfits won't have one. 6 going to be on a Tech 9, so even one of their fraggers is going to be down to a Tech. And they're going to be lacking some of the umph here, some of the utility that the T sides like to have, like mollies towards quad, mollies towards fence. Just blanket the site and mollies, smokes to push in. They're going to be missing that. So we'll see what Misfits may have in store for us.
Hayes finds that opener. That's over towards B. I mean, look how aggressive Hayes gets. He's all the way towards the backyard. And then he's just going to fall back through his own smoke. So excellent little entry here from the stand-in coach. Hayes still holds on to that B-site defense all alone. Misfits going to have to try and come up with some kind of a response, but it won't come in the form of ops, and that might put them at the back foot. I mean, we have seen OpTic really just hammering home with these scoped weapons. They still hang on to 2 of them, Nafly and Mixwell currently. But Misfits are going to be gambling with this mid boost, hoping to get their players up and over. On the receiving end of affairs shall be Mixwell. He is playing off of White Box and hoping for someone to present themselves. But the grenades come rolling over, and as he jumps back up, Sean Gares will take the frag. So that's Misfits back into the 4 versus 4 with a bit of mid control to play off of.
A bad start for Misfits. Full mid control. Hayes playing just outside of Vents, and he'll get shut down in checkers. Hayes will fall. Davidovek's going to smoke tree, and they're going to be ready for Nafly. An op headshot is rare. Great flash in from his teammate, but Sean Gares has already gotten himself in sight. And that's an easy refrag as Misfits. And one of the sites that are one of the more difficult to retake, especially if the T's have remaining utility. And an op in towards Sunroom as well. So they have a molly, double flash on Sick. Shazam's going to be playing blue tarp. Sick will be the one with utility, though, and the fence player will actually tag Shazam down to 20. So this becomes more doable now for OpTic, but they still need to find a clean entry.
Might come off the back of Rush as he sets the cross. Sean takes the headshot, and Tarek can't spray down that final frag. So Sean Gares clearing things up, not only leading Misfits to victory, seeing as they hold that 8th round over OpTic, but also topping the scoreboard here. Very unorthodox, the kill distribution on Misfits. It is a rare treat to see Sean this high.
I like it. Yeah, he's definitely fragging out. He's been there for the refrags. He's been there to support his teammates. He's the guy that buys utility and pistol rounds, and it's good to see him still transitioning this. He's the guy that will drop a rifle if he has enough money to one of his teammates, buy a UMP, or just go with a pistol for himself. So he's done a nice job of setting up his teammates, and it's good to see him putting up numbers with his own rifle, being that trade fragger, being the one there to get the returns. As we're going to be jumping into the next half here, Misfits up a 1 round, jumping over to the CT side on their pick, have to be feeling pretty comfortable. OpTic Gaming, though, we've seen them so far this weekend have those very explosive T sides. The T sides that make you think that they are just all out, just skirming out towards sites. They have once in a blue moon go for defaults, but very explosive on the maps we've seen them. And that's something to talk about. From Nuke to Train to Cobblestone, it's been very explosive for OpTic. Now, maybe on Cache, a map we haven't seen them play yet this weekend, maybe they'll be more reserved.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the same time that if you place OpTic Gaming versus CLG Academy,
that's true too.
At no point are they going to take that matchup seriously. So they are just going to try to play that kind of, quote unquote, no respect CS. And even versus Splice earlier today, they had such a one-sided half because of the aggression that they could just keep rolling with it. Splice, unfortunately, come up empty-handed in the terms of a response. I think what's really actually interesting here is, like, even in that last round where the money is kind of low for Misfits, you alluded to how Sean Gares is generally the support for his teammates and how he'll drop weapons and put himself at a disadvantage, but they were dropping him guns. Sick forfeits his rifle, keeps the Tech 9, and puts Sean on the primary, and then Sean comes in big with the 2K and the hold on the B site. So fantastic stuff here from Sean. I think he's kind of feeling frag ability right now, and that has certainly shined through. But without further ado, we are ready for the second half. That's right. OpTic Gaming down by 1, now on the T side of their map pick. Can they bounce it back versus a fully Kevlar'd Misfits?
Yeah, no kit, no utility. Shazam's pushing Squeaky. Nice kill as he gets 1. Sick finds 2. This is a great push coming in from Misfits. Is Sick gets a 4K, shuts down the A-main push. He actually peeks in towards Squeaky with Shazam there, gets 1, Shazam gets 1, and then re-peeks in towards A-main and will shut down OpTic pretty much single-handedly with Sick finding 1 frag. That's what you love to see. Or, excuse me, with Shazam finding 1 frag, Sick finding 4, and that's what you love to see. Sick now starting to turn up. Everyone from Misfits is finding their shots, finding their groove, as they'll take the pistol over OpTic Gaming, who are now going to be sent down to a little bit of a hampered by upgraded pistols. Although we've seen this, if anything, this weekend has shown us is that eco rounds are still extremely doable.
Nafly getting boosted, spotted by Shazam, and dealt with quite swiftly. Asserting the rifles is Misfits. But currently OpTic just starting to bottle up here. They're going to boost Tarek back over. He, of course, has that deed, so he might read preemptively to the position of Shazam, who does just keep peeking into the crosshairs here. That's going to be Sean caught from vents. Hayes will take the frag. So a 4 versus 4 back for OpTic. Of course, they have no utility coming into this one, so it's not even like they can smoke off CT cross and try to grab the plant towards B. But currently, that would be their best bet. I mean, Aminek's the only line of defense, and he comes into the back of checkers. It's going to be a mid assertion here from OpTic. Shazam taking another frag, but Rush swinging it back with one of his own, thanks to the Kevlar. He now retrieves the M4 and has the bomb to play off of.
No Tarks here towards Squeaky. Pops a couple shots. That Molly's going to send him back for now. And you're completely right. He has armor and an M4 on his back. As Aminek, he is kind of chilling back checkers. Waiting for that to get broken. He's going to allow them to drop. Wait for Rush to peek. And actually, he'll swing first. So now he's going to try to get a flash out in time, but the pistol, or excuse me, the UMP of Hayes will chase him down until he falls sick. Quick to peek Kevin, and that's the bomb down. 14 seconds. Davidovec finds Tarek pushing, and that is going to be 10 now for Misfits. OpTic Gaming stuck on 7. But damage has been dealt on both sides. Misfits, they keep 2 members alive. It was made expensive from OpTic. Bomb almost gets planted, but it's still... OpTic are going to have to take a little bit of a half buy, maybe a couple pistols, some P250s, pretty much the normal at this point. You don't want to put too much into this round, as Misfits will go for a little bit of a farm here. At least Sean Garris will. Same with Shazam. They're going to get the SMGs, try to make a little bit of cash, but it looks like OpTic, I think their goal here is a bomb plant. They love a bomb plant.
Yeah, that one single flashbang being set by Hayes. So they're just going to try to flood into the A-bomb site. Sick from afar with the M4. Starts to deal damage. He's got Davidovec to help things out. Shazam with the 2K off of the ump. So cash has been made. Shaz swaps to the P250. And it's the frag grenade from Aminek that'll blast away the kill. So Misfits do take themselves the 4-point lead. All thanks to the conversion following the pistols. So not only do they finish things off with that 1-point lead in the 8-7 half, but then the pistol and follow-ups gives them a great start. However, OpTic are going to have the AKs and nades aplenty here in the 19th to try and battle things back. Can they cut through the op of Shazam, however, without op presence of their own?
Shazam has been playing well all weekend now. Would not be surprised if that continues in this match. He's been good so far. The op on the CT side, see how deadly he's going to be. A great counter boost from Misfits. Sick. They don't even see this coming. A quick push from Misfits here on the first rifle round in the second half, at least for OpTic Gaming. And Misfits go for an aggressive play. They counter boost, and Sick gets 3. Lovely play. Nice support. And they just set up Sick beautifully. As the bomb is down, Nafly's alone, and Misfits just flawless right now into this rifle round.
Yeah, OpTic just go missing in a matter of seconds as well. It is just down to Nafly 1v5. He doesn't even have the bomb control currently, so he's just hoping for some kind of a kill. Sean gives himself away because of the shots he fires, so you can see Nafly just fixate onto his position, clearing him up with ease. 1v4, 2 players tagged. Crazier things have happened, and he's got the time to play off of. If only he had a bomb.
A bomb would be ideal, but I think Davidovec has spotted that. So Nafly's in a world of hurt. We'll find Davidovec. Now he's going to slowly work back towards the bomb. 30 seconds, Misfits. This would be heartbreaking if they do throw this away for Nafly. It only takes a couple peeks. The next thing you know, it's a 1v2 or 1v1. Instead, Aminek will just put him down from behind. It's going to be 12-7. OpTic Gaming, the first rifle round, won't go their way. Pistols aplenty now again. If they want to invest anything, who knows? As Misfits should have 13 on the board. Unless something crazy happens with a couple deegs, or someone steps up at OpTic Gaming and makes a play, it's looking like 13 for Misfits.
Tough spot for OpTic to find themselves in. They were certainly hoping for at least the first gun round, seeing as they lost the pistol, but for now, they come up empty-handed. Pistols, a couple of grenades, and surefire Kevlar towards that B site, but Aminek makes it look easy. Sprays through the smoke grenade, he lines up 2 frags, and immediately puts OpTic to a stellar disadvantage. He's actually going to catch them trying to counter boost here as Tarek continues onwards. Hayes comes barreling through the smoke. Sean Gares will catch him, and Tarek is all that's left here from OpTic. 1v5, Tech 9, and players all around him. It's done. Misfits find 13.
Look at the cash Misfits had built. This entire half has been pretty flawless for them. the last, let's go into 3 rounds. 5 alive, 3 alive, 5 alive. I mean, they have, what is that, 2 players in 5 digits. They're comfortable right now as Misfits. OpTic Gaming, no money for the op. They'll go full utility, they'll go AKs. As Misfits will have the op pressure still from Shazam, and they're going to go for a quicker play here towards mid. Tark's going to boost 2 players over, and they're going to go in the back of a flash as spam comes through. So that's going to mask these drop-down noises. Nafly's going to make a little presence towards B, as Hayes gets all the way to white box, unnoticed and unheard. As Mixwell will find Almanac towards B. In return to this, you can see Misfits pushing out Squeaky. So Devaduvek may get caught as he rotates back off. Shazam finds Tark. Hazed in the meantime, as all of a sudden, skirmishes across the map. We're back to even. So that happened in a quick succession as OpTic get out towards mid, but the trades just go right back in towards Misfits' way. And this is kind of a weird round right now. Sean Gare's pushed up, but I think he knows what's going on.
He's very wary of the positioning here from Mixwell, so I think he's going to keep going and take map control of his own, but at least call that there could be a threat towards B. He does catch Nafly all the way back towards spawn, and he's actually going to try to take this duel here. M4 from afar is going to lose it. Nafly takes it, and that's the man advantage. Swung back by Devaduvik as he clears out the mid. Of course, Misfits still hang on to bomb control, and OpTic 2v2 need to wrestle it back from them. Devaduvik finding the headshot to Mixwell is going to make things look even worse. Naf is already tagged, but at least he takes... No, that's Shazam with a TK. Oh, thank goodness Shazam can swing that back. How embarrassing would that have been?
Would have been awkward. Maybe a little bit of a momentum swing there if that ends up going OpTic's way. And they're going to be buying here. $3,900 average. That gets out a couple AKs. Nafly gets a smoke. Rush gets a smoke. Galil out from Tark so he can afford that smoke. Hazed. I imagine he'll go UMP or Galil himself to try to get some utility. He's thinking about it. He's sitting in spawn. And he will go the Galil way. So he'll get a smoke double flash. As this is almost like the last stand for OpTic. They have max loss right now. But again, they fully invest. Not taking one of those half buys to ensure an op, to ensure full utility. And Misfits are looking good right now on cash.
Couple of nades over towards A main. Misfits trying to counter the presence from OpTic. And it does actually force them back. We're starting to see a rotation back towards middle here, but this is perfect. Look at 6th position right now. He could catch Naf, but he gives it up. He looks away. Nafly checks his left side and just finds a CT kind of with his pants down. Unfortunate turn of events there for Sick. The timing costs him. And now OpTic Gaming have a man advantage to execute off of. Again, 2 players for Misfits over here towards the B site, 1 at mid and 1 at A. Plenty of time to play off of and still the utility to execute.
There's 1 player back checkers, that's Omnic, while Shazam with the op's going to be on B site. Now, we've seen Omnic come out on top from this position before, and OpTic Gaming don't have any mollies to clear that out, so Omnic can just sit and wait while Mixwell gets spotted. A couple missed shots from Devaduvek cost Sean Garrett his life, so he can't save his teammate. As Hayes is going to rotate to vents, I imagine here. That's the play. As Devaduvek will spot Hayes, and he is just going to fall off and allow him into vents, and they won't clear back checkers. So keep it on Omnic. Maybe that's Hayes' job, as it is. Dinks up Omnic through the box as Shazam yet to fall on site, as he actually rotates to heaven, so he falls off of the site. That happened while Omnic was getting pushed, so good on Shazam to move out of there when he did, as Rush is alone on default. And they have Tarek back through the wall. What was that from Shazam? He walls him to 32. Doesn't even see Tarek.
Shazam still trying to hold off on the angle. Devaduvik creating space, but he's gone down, and Rush will take them both. OpTic still in this game as they respond after 6 consecutive wins from Misfits. Finally, OpTic have something to be proud of. It is, of course, going to allow for them to reinvest into the next. They did have 2 weapons grandfathered forward, so full buy on the cards from OpTic, but it should empty out their coffers. Meanwhile, Misfits facing economic distress themselves, able to afford that double op setup, all the nades in the world, but the reset potentially on the table.
Yeah, that would hurt considering the scoreline. Misfits get to 15 and reset OpTic. That would not be a good look for OpTic Gaming. Shazam going to be playing on top of White Box. Looking towards Boost, while Tark just making sure they're not going for anything too cheeky towards Shroud Boost. As Hayes is going to slowly work his way up towards Squeaky. Now the bomb is still left in mid-main, so OpTic not really committing to anything. Just playing a default, gaining some map control across the board. As Hayes will stay towards Squeaky, but it looks like Misfits. A mid-round push here coming in. They'll find Tark and the transfer. Daviduvek with Sick together. They will take down both players outside of A main as Hayes is just left spinning, wondering what's gone wrong. As Daviduvek will burn Nafly. That kind of came out of nowhere as they're going to try to get towards the A site.
Rush trying to molly off the corners here. Sean's still back behind quad. Sick, ever lit, still sits inside the site, but he's waiting for the execution forward. Hayes gonna be able to find one. Sean gets whipped on by Hayes, and that creates a lot of space now for the T side. Double op retake into the A site here for Misfits to clutch. This would be round 15 secured. It's gonna be Hayes getting aggressive, dropping Shazam. 3 frags already on the round. Hayes coming to life. Not just a coach, but reminiscent of his days as a player. Amanek, with the op, starts to close the distance in, but Hayes will have the angle, and there you have it. Hayes single-handedly keeps OpTic on this game. Misfits could have secured OT, but they'll come up a little short, and that's now the CT side in economic distress.
Jeez, Hayes does it again. Coach, player, he's got everything covered right now. 14-9. Misfits, you're right, held off a match point, held off from securing OT, and they'll go right into upgraded pistols. They'll get a bye next round. That's going to be 3-round loss after this one. So they'll be feeling okay coming next round. As they're going to go for the boost. We've seen this one before, actually. Kusta went for this, as it allows you to look towards white box, and it's also more of a popular boost. I'm just referencing to when the last time I've seen it, as Kusta hit a wall bang, actually, from a counter boost that a certain team was going for. So now it is just going to be a boost to hold white box. I like to see this boost. It's actually not as popular as I'd like it to be, so I like seeing OpTic use this one. Mixwell gets out towards mid, just going to post up on white box himself, as OpTic will gain mid control, so at least a little bit of mid control. They don't have too much presence, and with Sean Gares and Vents, there's still a lot that can go wrong, but OpTic are starting off well.
Sean just got obliterated by Mixwell. He pops the vents. Mixwell just 90-degree spin around. Cracks his dome wide open as OpTic find the B site with relative ease. Sure, Mixwell's been lit ever slightly, but he continues on this rampage with another frag to Daviduvek, and Naf will take the last. So OpTic converting another point on the anti-eco. Misfits still sitting on 14. But OpTic starting to close this distance here. That's 3 consecutive after 6 from Misfits. At least the CT side will have another bye.
And it's a bye that includes an op on Shazam. So anytime an op's out, it's a good bye for Misfits. As Amanek's going to be playing towards Z. Just an early smoke, an early break of the vents. Nafly, I like that throw flash. That actually catches him full blind. He'll kill Sean Gares, who was there for the refrag. He wasn't even blind from that flash that Nafly threw. It was a jump flash, which Shazam that was blind. So I guess Sean Gares will die to keep Shazam living. As that's a good opening if you're an OpTic gaming fan. That's what you like to see, as Daviduvek's gonna try to find something to bring it back. Some kind of aggression the CTs need right now when you're 1 down and have no map control. Especially with a retake on A, you have to do something, but Rush just holding for that exact play on top red. We'll just say, no, you're not getting any info. You're not finding a refrag. They're going to stay with a 2-man advantage.
Misfits have 0 A presence whatsoever, and that's where Hayes currently creeps. So if you were to walk out into the site and realize there's no defenders, then OpTic Gaming can just rotate entirely. But for the most part, this 4-man cohort will continue into B. Hayes selling a fake to no one right now, and he realizes this. He falls back. The bomb as well starting to move over. Tarek able to burn Shazam alive, but they walk into the crosshair of Amanek, who's going to go down after 1. 3v1 is all that remains, as Sick will grab the op, but he misses the shot to Hayes. And that's another one for OpTic.
Well, Misfits going to have to take another kind of save round here. It's starting to get a little scary. OpTic Gaming is starting to really put the pedal to the metal, start to bring it back. You thought their tank may have been empty, and we may have had to wait until train to really see the real OpTic start to flourish. But they're starting to come to form here. Now, Nafly will keep the UMP in. He actually buys it up just to try to make some cash. No armor for Misfits. And they're going to be going for a bit of a gamble stack, a bit of a gamble push. They have to. You can't really afford to sit with just some upgraded pistols, as they're going to push Squeaky, push A main. So far, it's all OpTic as Amanek is going to throw a little bit of a smoke, get out of there, while Nafly is going to continue to push forward. Goodbye to Sick as he's looking for some more, and he will clean up Amanek. So that's just one way to handle the push. You throw the UMP forward when you play back at A main, but Shazam, you know, his Deagle still got it. Ooh! Hit rush there.
OpTic have realized that 6 rounds to the start of Misfits CT side was just a little too much, so they've turned it back with 5 of their own. They're looking to mirror that 6th round. Of course, this time it's going to be versus the buy, and Misfits actually afford themselves that double op setup. Amanek and Shazam to grab the cannons. M4s for the other 3, nades aplenty, barring Amanek. We'll see OpTic go into what looks like a pretty quick A-site setup. The execution inbound.
Ooh, Shazam gets aggressive. He's still sticking around. He finds Nafly. Shazam is still here. He can't really back up with a molly behind him, so he only gets 1 for his life, and Sick will get nothing. He tries to repeat to bring it back. Sean Gares on Catwalk, and he will just get absolutely sent to the Shadow Realm, as it is all just Amanek 1v3. As Misfits try a little bit of aggression with Shazam. Now I wonder, was that an OpTic Gaming molly behind him, or is that his teammates? Because that went awfully deep, and I don't think anyone from OpTic Gaming was pushed that far. I don't know if you noticed. But if that was a teammate's molly, Shazam kind of just got sacrificed for only 1 frag there, and then Sick tried to do something. But he got deleted.
Yeah, I can't help but feel like that was from OpTic.
Yeah.
If it was from Misfits, because I didn't see the trajectory, then it certainly cost Shazam his life. Then again, I mean, Shazam was also fully blinded and just trying to jump into a corner, so I think he would have been more willing to run through fire than to not run at all. And ultimately, it was a great flashbang there from OpTic that allowed them to trade that back. So I do give credit to Misfits for at least getting aggressive on that op, and Shazam does find the 5v4. But then immediately we find OpTic realize the opportunity, kill Shazam, and just barrel into the bomb site. They knew they had a bit of an opening. They realized that Misfits would not be stacked in a gun round, and certainly they take that one with relative ease. So 3 players for OpTic still standing. They do get that 6-point rebound, very similarly to what Misfits start the half off with. But here it is yet again. Guns for everyone. Nades as well across the board. Only 1 kit for Sick. And it is a crucial round at that. Either OpTic tie things up with 14 apiece, or Misfits secure OT.
And a similar setup again from OpTic Gaming. They're lining up the smokes. There'll be a catwalk smoke, I imagine. A cross smoke, a default smoke. They'll have everything covered. But Misfits have some counter nades for this. They molly off forklift. They smoke A main. Devovic's going to stick around here, and he can't hit shots. Rush says not today. He shuts him down. Now there's 1 player in sight. That is Sick. That's his second. As they are trying to push through their own smokes, but Misfits quick to rotate. And the counter nades coming in from Misfits is really what's making this possible. As Sick gets a 3rd, and he looks for more, and Amanek will help him out. Misfits get 15, thanks to Sick and Amanek, who pick up all 5 together. But it's just the counter nades, I think, that really made that doable for Misfits. A molly fork, a couple counter flashes, and then OpTic Gaming had to run through their own smokes, which, yes, that's the play, but Misfits doing a nice job of staying alive behind them.
So finally, after 6 consecutive rounds, Misfits are able to bounce back with 1 of their own. It secures OT and gives OpTic 2 rounds to force that overtime. If not, we've got Misfits walking away with their pick. Nice boost over towards Truck, and it works out. Tarek, excellently done. Counters the positioning on White Box and finds Shazam with ease. Mixwell takes the next, and the double op setup again from OpTic is paying dividend. Mixwell gonna catch the man off of the ladder as well, and that's just frags aplenty here for OpTic. Sean Gares and Amanek, all that's left, both split off of the A site. This one's done. OpTic continue on.
Well, just when you think Misfits may be able to close this one out, OpTic Gaming just power their way back in. And again, it's thanks to Mixwell with the op, Tarek as well, and speak of the devil, it's Mixwell to hit Amanek. He just is non-stop when it comes to this op. Sean Gares trying to sit in checkers, trying to stay alive. Now, this may get wall banged, actually. And Sean Gares is hoping one of those don't land on him, but OpTic Gaming, they have cash. They're willing to throw some AKs away to hunt him down.
Look at that aggression. Mixwell just jumps through his teammate's Molotov and shoots Sean point blank in the face. Makes it look easy as well here. Round number 30 is now upon us. It is a full buy from OpTic, seeing as they win that previous. They've got all the cash in the world, but look at this deflated buy from Misfits. Pistol arrows is all that they can put forth here. Very little utility as well, so overtime suddenly looks incredibly realistic.
After winning 6 in a row, OpTic Gaming will win 6 in a row back. And this is kind of where we stand right now. Shazam. Don't know how that wasn't a kill. Maybe it was through the box down to 12. As Sick with his CZ, though. This man with his pistols. Always able to put up a little bit of a show as he gets to. But the E button seems broken. He wanted the op. He's trying to throw a weapon back to his teammate. He will do so. So Devo will get the AK. And it's thankfully so as he finds Hayes opening the door. Now Misfits. You say just pistol arrows. But they have brought it to a 4-on-2. Tarek and Nafly, who have little to no map control. They still think Misfits have pushed up in towards A main. And now you can tell how scared they are to go elsewhere, because these pistols could have pushed anywhere across the map.
Now, right now, Misfits are playing a B-site retake. So they're actually kind of hoping that OpTic walk into this. I mean, you can see that by the positioning from Sean Gares just on the opposite side of CT spawn. OpTic very wary of some kind of a defense, but there's nobody here, at least nobody close enough to duel or to prevent them from getting on site. The two other players from A are now rotating over, so Misfits know exactly what's going on here. Unfortunately for Amanek, he'll have to break the vents if he wants to entry in. But OpTic spending their last 20 seconds just clearing out the bomb site. Tarek with the op is going to have to go for the plant. And there's the vent. It distracts Naf. Sean peeks wide and he takes it. This could be Misfits unless Tarek clutches. 1v4. He's caught in the open and down he goes. Misfits, being on only pistols, bounce back in the 30th round to secure their map choice. It looked as though OpTic had their number and were going to force OT, but that is not the case. The 2K from Sick grabs the guns, chucks them back, and it manages to somehow find Misfits moving forward. Man. I really thought that one was done, or at least, excuse me, done in the terms of overtime, but that's not it, Seaside. We're finished for real. 16-14's the score.
And that's actually insane, too, because Misfits, you thought that game was over after they won 6 straight in a row. They couldn't get to 15. And then next thing you know, OpTic wins 6 straight in a row. And then Misfits finally get it. And then they get reset immediately. And they have to win it on pistols. And it's thanks to Sick. His heads-up play to push A main. He gets 2 awesome kills with his CZ. But then he takes the AK. And he's wise enough to call one of his teammates over and throw the AK back to Devo Duvic, who then killed Hayes opening Squeaky. Sick was able to pick up the op, and then they just kind of shut down OpTic from there. It was good teamwork, good chemistry, and it got a little rocky near the end. You got to admit, OpTic Gaming started to step it up, rush, Nafly really hitting some shots, finding the kills they need to really open up these sites. But in the end, Misfits finally will close out their map pick as we move over to Train. Now, if that map was any kind of a tell for something, I can only imagine what Train's going to be like.
Yeah, Train will be the second map of the series, so make sure you guys don't go too far. While you wait for the second map to go live, you can still enter in our giveaway. Not the prediction phase, but at least the giveaway. That'll cost you nothing but your time. CyberPowerPC.Civo.com/giveaway. Video cards, solid-state drives, mechanical keyboards. We could all use them, and you guys have your chance to win them for absolutely free. So head on over and enter in your chance to win before the second map goes live. Of course, this is OpTic Gaming versus Misfits for the CyberPowerPC Extreme Gaming Series 2017. We'll see you guys for the second map in just a little bit after a short word from our sponsors. Map number 2 now set to begin. OpTic Gaming versus Misfits. If you guys did just miss that first map, then you missed Misfits nearly giving up the comeback. OpTic Gaming certainly made it look as though it was going to happen, at least OT on the cards, but then in the 30th round, Misfits seal the deal. So now we move over to the map choice of OpTic, and they will be beginning things on the T side. I am Scrawny, joined by C-Side, and this, of course, is the CyberPowerPC Spring Invitational.
Well, will OpTic push the third map, which will be Mirage, if memory serves me correctly, or will Misfits take it 2-0, which would certainly be an unforeseen kind of ending to the event we've had this weekend. But it comes down to this pistol. At least the start of this map does, as Mixwell's going to be pushing up close. Devduvek pushes up. Good trade with Shazam, as Sean Garrett just went flying around that corner as soon as his teammate died for the CZ. And OpTic Gaming will come out top with the trades for now. As Sick, though, he's on the scene, and he is looking to deal some damage.
Yeah, he's already been able to get himself behind the oil tanker. Amanek coming in from the opposite side of lanes, so they could just pinch into the bomb site, but Sick hits the headshot. That's hazed out of the count. Tarek as well has been dealt with. Naf is all that's left, and Sick with another 4K pistol, all of which are headshots.
Jeez.
Kicks this off for Misfits.
This kid's a menace. He did it with Shazam, you're right, on Cash, and here we are in training, he does it again. He catches a player as they come down ramp just before the smoke blooms, and then they get to site, and he pushes up oil beautifully as Misfits pick up that round where they kind of got slaughtered right at the beginning. They go for an aggressive upper brown push. Shazam is there at the back to swing with his teammate. Sean Garrett gets nothing with the CZ, but it's Sick to really kind of reel it back in, as Misfits will be up 1-0. OpTic Gaming on the bomb plant. Now we've seen a couple buys like this weekend. LG get it. A couple other teams went for it, where the player that can afford a rifle will pick it up. Everyone else get utility and upgraded pistols and armor. Now normally what you do here is teams would save and get a full buy next round, but they're gonna go for the gamble here. They're banking on getting a bomb planted, maybe another bomb planted, trying to push forward down as far back down to the back of B bomb site as you can, get aggressive, let the pistols do some work. And you know what? All in all, not a bad setup that OpTic Gaming have going for right now, especially with Misfits the way they're playing the B site, although they are playing it relatively safe.
Yeah, they've got Sean Garrett playing from above here. Rush is just going to barrel through his own fire. At least his team's. Sean's still just trying to snub him out. Has the verticality. That's the bomb now dropped and spotted. Sean near finds 3. So much damage done. All remaining players incredibly lit as Tarek and Mixwell are all that's left now. Here comes Shazam, and Amanek takes the last. Misfits just boxing in OpTic at that point. They had the smoke execution. They used their grenades to try and get out, but ultimately it just didn't work. Misfits cleaning it up with relative ease. OpTic back down to pistols.
Yeah, I understand what OpTic are going for there. Let's smoke down ramp. Let's try to get to the site. We'll fight the one player that's playing close. That turned out to be Sean Garrett on top train. If we can find that frag, get the bomb planted, push far back down into the B site, and try to let the pistols find some frags and upgrade their weapons. Instead, it was Sean Garrett to lock it down. And again, he's going to go for this push into upper brown. Doesn't have support from teammates besides Amanek, who's back there with that M4. So he's almost by himself once he rounds this corner. Now he's fully alone. He's going to tell Amanek to rotate. And if he goes down ladder, he's going to be greeted by a party of 3 members of OpTic Gaming just sitting there. And he will just look down, not say anything, and move on with his day. So ladder is unchecked, bomb is down, but with just Glocks, I mean, OpTic Gaming may need some things dropped in their lap to really pick this one up.
Yeah, Sean's coming in from behind. Nafly was just spotting it, but he's actually still able to get by here. Naf comes in with the Glock kill, picks himself an MP9. Certainly not the weapon he had hoped for, considering the arsenal that Misfits holds on to. Tarek gets spotted, and Mixwell gets killed. Still, the bomb not in the hands of OpTic. But at least 3 players to push towards the B site. So they read, knowing that Sean came in from the long flank, Nafly assumes that the B site is clear, and certainly it is. So this is a good read that gives OpTic a lot of map control, but Sick is already aware of what's happening here. He knows that they've retreated, and that they could be coming in. They still don't have the bomb, and that's the biggest issue for OpTic.
Yeah, Sick spots Tart coming around. Should clean him up, and he will. And the bomb is still down in the exact same spot, and Shazam cleans up Nav. Now Rush with just a Glock. Maybe we'll get one frag for the road. Sick will peek it. Gets gushed down to 20. He will go. Misfits pick up the 3-0 start. OpTic Gaming will have a buy now. As the rifle arm will come out, it'll be no op, it'll be AKs and utility. Misfits We may see an upgrade on the Galil and FAMAS, but it is just cheaper, and it really helps your economy if you just keep these rifles going forward. It's not like they're terrible, as the Op actually will get it bought up for Shazam. So they lose one member in that round, toss over one of the guns. Op gets purchased, so there is an Op for the CT side, as we will see OpTic Gaming with a plethora of utility, at least enough to get something going. And early on, they'll put 2 players in T-Con, 3 players towards Upper Brown, and Shazam will tag him down, no leg him, and Aminek's nade will clean it up. So that's one way to get an opening frag.
Molotov's still popping all across the site. Sick, gonna get tagged by his own team twice as he moves amongst the smoke. That is still the man advantage for Misfits to hang on to. 4 defenders near the A site, one of which joins at B. So OpTic buying their time, still have enough nades to go for an execution at some point. Devaduvic wants to peek this back left side, and Mixwell is there, but he's waiting for the right time to do it. You'd hate to see him give away an advantage, so he waits for the teammate's flash, hopes that Rush will come to help, but Mixwell ultimately costs him. OpTic back to the 4v4, and they come pushing into A.
Mixwell's looking for something. He'll actually burn Sick. Sick can't get out of the fire. Nafly finds Sean Gares, and now Aminek rotating to no one alive. He is just going to fall off, try to get back lanes, maybe try to find a couple frags for his troubles. But OpTic Gaming, a nice molly from Sick, force those players in awkward spots on the site. As Aminek's going to work around here. Rush is in old hell. As Aminek's just going to slowly try to work his way out, try to find something here. Maybe some exits on OpTic Gaming. Deal some damage to their wallets. As he's sitting on 5,400 himself, so he's feeling all right. He'd love to find 1 or 2 OpTic Gaming members. He spots Rush, and there's one. You know, maybe he'll look for some more. Maybe OpTic decided to re-peek this, as he spotted that player running out a ladder, and he spots him crossing back, taps away. Aminek should have it, but no. A couple bullets will go sailing past Hayes, as he will live, and Hayes will stay alive. He will, 16 HP. OpTic Gaming pick up a round. But the players that stayed alive will drop the rifles over to Rush and Tark, so they can buy up armor utility themselves. As Misfits will get one more buy them into this as well. We may see Aminek drop over to Shazam. Okay, I like this. I actually like this a lot. So if you didn't notice what happened, Shazam pot a mag 7, throws it to Sean Gares. Aminek just buys himself an M4. So there's Sean Gares again saying, hey, you know what? I'm okay with this.
We're going to see OpTic assume control of the upper brown halls. Still a early A stack from Misfits. We saw this in the last, and they'll do it yet again. Standard setup coming in from OpTic. 3 players over towards box. The bomb's been dropped by Spawn, so a clear indicator here of no commitment from OpTic. They're waiting for some kind of an opening, and then the ability to rotate back and grab that. This will also deny any information for Misfits. Even if they are able to win a duel or 2, they will not find the device, and so OpTic don't get pinned into one decision. Shazam gets aggressive towards T-Con.
Bit of Uvek. Lead a little bit of nade damage. Our 2 players on the other side here. He is just going to go ahead and molly as soon as he gets smoked off. As it's a double molly from OpTic. So they smoke off left side, double molly right. Have to wait for Devodivek's molly to clear before they go anywhere. As the bomb, though, is heading towards B. So they may leave 1 player there. That's going to be Mixwell. But look at Sean Gares holding his corner. That's not a kill. The pellets don't fully connect. Navfly on 7. As Aminek's going to be playing just offside a bomb site. And it looks like OpTic Gaming is just going to regroup. They know they've pulled rotations. Immediately transition down Pop Dog out to camera and try to challenge these players onto the site. That molly will slow rotations. Shazam may get 1, but an insta-trade, and Sick will get nothing for his life. As OpTic Gaming play a little ring around the rosy with where they want to go. But in the end, it will come out on top as a bomb is going to go down.
Mixwell making contact, spots the presence towards the backyard. Devaduvic and Aminek, the French duo, is now a 1-pronged assault. Devaduvic, all that remains here to the CT side. So Misfits going to give up another round. OpTic dodged that hard reset. We saw the resets really affect them in the opening half of Cash. Seems as though that's not the case here on Train. Tarek comes wide, hits himself the headshot, and has 5 kills already. Now, that's actually one thing, Seaside, that we were able to avoid talking about throughout the entirety of Cash. It was just kind of lingering there in the background, but never arose in conversation. For the longest time, Tarek had like 4 kills. And I'm talking like 20 rounds deep.
I didn't want to say anything.
I didn't bring it up either. Obviously, others were aware, but I was hoping he'd kind of kick things into gear. And it's nice to see that between maps, he's already found that composure and comes into this one, leading the charge for now.
That's good, yeah. That's good to see. Maybe it was just a dull map for him. Cash maybe isn't his safe place. But it's good to see him at least turn up here now, as he'll be up to 6 after we talk about him. So the Pistols of Misfits will find one refrag onto Hayes. Deduvek sitting in Old Hell. Shazam, just a silence USP. There's no way he's going to be able to hold on to the hell that's coming his way. He might be able to get 1 frag if he's extremely lucky and positions correctly, but OpTic Gaming should tie us up at 3s. And we'll see a buy next round for Misfits. So there may be the kill I was talking about. No, Tarek's going to find his second of the round. So starting to heat it up, granted against unarmored opponents, but it's good to see him at least putting frags on the board. And even if they are against ecos, it's some confidence building. It's something that he can say, you know what, I've already fragged out a bit more than I did last game, at least at this current time. So I'm feeling all right. As OpTic Gaming will tie us at 3s, and we'll see a buy from Misfits, and it will include an op. So I look forward to seeing where Shazam may go with it.
Amanek at this point is not going to find anything with that MAC-10, so I'm almost more surprised to see that Misfits aren't going for some solid exits. I mean, sure, Davidovik's in a position to come up ladder late. Amanek's going to try to get over towards the staircase, I hope, but even Davidovik just changes gears, so they're not looking to deal any damage, looking to conserve their guns, which is curious considering they have so little. You'd think that maybe you want to start to get ahead of this T side. I mean, look at the cash here from OpTic. 8.3 on Tarek, 8.5 on Nafly, and they're not going to have to reinvest all too heavily. So this is a fantastic start to the T side of OpTic. Sure, they lose the pistol in the conversion rounds, but since the gun rounds have begun, it is OpTic all day. CT side back in with the buy. Amanek keeps the MAC-10, and I disagree with that.
MAC-10 is, you know, UMP maybe with the armor pen, you can justify the MAC-10. You know, we'll see where he goes with it. He's number 5 in your mini-map. So he's just sitting on bomb site right now. He's going to throw a nade in towards T-Con. I'd like to see him get aggressive on the back of that, or just be the rotator to float over to B, maybe get aggressive with his teammate there. And that looks like it is going to be the case. So he's going to throw his utility towards A, rotate over to help out Sean Gares. But OpTic Gaming are throwing utility, and down ladder they go. So flashes aplenty, mollies and smokes coming out, even some mollies towards Sandwich is sick. Can't win that duel against Rush. Shazam is here, but for how long can he stay alive backside and continue to find some frags? As he gets 2, escapes through a smoke, and will just disappear into the night for now. As Davidovik is looking to aggress towards back green, so Misfits at least keep the man advantage. Davidovik's going to find Nafly, but Tarek, can he come to life? It's time now. Last map he was quiet, but he's turning up when he's needed. Mixwell will bring it to a 2v2. 50 seconds on the clock, and Amanek with the MAC-10 is going to get up close and personal with Mixwell. Tarek reloading 1v1, and he needs to get the 3K. This would be huge for OpTic Gaming, and Amanek just barely doesn't spot this, and it comes down to timing almost at this point.
Timing is a cruel mistress, but Amanek has fallen back. He has the awareness of the bomb. Tarek steps wide, but it's going to be a hit through the boxes. Tarek, oh, he doesn't realize where he is. And that allows Amanek to swap to the sidearm and finish off that frag. Incredibly close for Amanek. You know, in that one moment, he just starts sweating bullets. Regardless of Misfits' struggle in that one, they do still find the round, and that puts OpTic now in a prime position to reset the CT side. Again, we alluded to the amount of cash that OpTic had left over, and they reinvest it into this one with the op and AKs as well.
Tarek's going to get aggressive towards Upper Brown. That molly stops it up from peeking. Davidovik finds Hayes right off the get-go. So that's an aggressive ladder push from coming in from Misfits. Hayes goes down by himself. Nafly is waiting from someone from Misfits to try to maybe peek him. As he full blinds himself, he's just going to wait. Doesn't want to go down the ladder quite yet. That molly's going to force those Misfit members out. And Mixwell's ready for it, but he only gets 1 for his life. He's alone in T-Con when he peeks that. Davidovik molly's going to force that player out. Nafly's going to run right through it and shut down from Davidovik. A big 3K from shutting down the player, peeking and swinging on him as he runs out of Pop Tog. They're just shutting down Nafly as he comes out himself. And now Shazam's going to hold Ivy. The smoke makes his life a little more difficult. But Rush has done a nice job of being silent this whole time.
MNX coming in behind them, and they've yet to check this, but Rush near swings out. Tarek's all that's left yet again here. Devaduvic with 3 already. He's going to find that 4th. From above, on top of the trains, it is Misfits with another. So they dodge the hard reset, and they put OpTic back into a questionable spot, seeing as their money is ever so low. Misfits with a good chance of starting to run away with some momentum. Again, we saw the pistol and conversions go the way of the CTs, and then gun rounds turn to OpTic. This is now Misfits figuring things out and putting themselves back in a prime position. Double Tech 9, Op, and a couple rifles is what OpTic have in the 9th.
Yeah, a couple members had a bit more cash than the others, so they decided to just even it all out. Some players had to go for the double saves, so they might as well just go for this investment. Mixwell and Hayes pull short sticks, and they'll go ahead and get Tech 9s. Sean Garris feels some pressure as you heard those players jumping, drops the smoke, and will fall back into the site. While Six thinking about getting aggressive with this UMP, and rightfully so. As OpTic Gaming don't have too much map control. They've gained Upper Brown, but outside of that, they have one player trying to spot an Ivy push, and he's just going to fall off of that. So Mixwell's going to rotate over to his teammates. Look for the Tech 9s to go down. Maybe the Op will go out towards Upper, as now Fly will drop the bomb to one of these Tech players, as they're going to line up the little bit of utility they have and try to execute here. As Sean Gares and Amanek try to hold on. Smokes and flashes out. Rush will find Sean Gares. That's a good way to start this as a double dink from Amanek. He's going for the 3rd shutdown from Rush. But damage has been dealt from Amanek. He at least brings it back to even as Zam gets caught. He does a leg onto Tarek, but that is not good enough in this situation.
Devaduvic spots Naft over towards the ladder, so he's going to keep moving forward here despite being fully blind. Sick gets removed. Devaduvic has been spotted. So the jig is up, and Tarek takes the frag. That is OpTic rebounding with yet another round here on the T side. 4 on the board. Already quite par for the course here on the T side of Train, especially when you consider the situation on Misfits. That is 2 players at $1,800, 2 of which in 4,000. But the buy will be deflated. Scout for Amanek, pistols on Devaduvic and Sick. Certainly not what they'd hoped for after winning 2 of their own.
More ladder aggression from Misfits. They have stacked all their players towards A. They're banking on these 2 players in ladder to be pretty much the ears here. Not so much eyes, just the ears for the B site. And if they hear enough pressure going towards Brown Halls, you'll see them rotate. So that's why Amanek is now back lanes towards B. At least back trains, excuse me. So that's why Amanek rotated so early. They have Shazam in towards Sandwich. Sick is holding towards Ivy. As Amanek will have a smoke thrown his way. Now, this isn't a commitment from OpTic. This is almost like an info gathering mission. This is kind of like a peaceful gathering and hunting mission as Sick runs out of bullets. And he gets shut down, but Misfits still with a man advantage. If Pistols can trade 1 for their lives, it gives a chance to these M4s to really make some plays. As OpTic Gaming have to fall off Upper Brown control, go back and grab the bomb. And they kind of run out of the tell that they're really giving right now. Is they're just going to give group all the way back up, and they may just walk out T-Con here. But Misfits, they're going to pull these players off of B. I think Devaduvic said, hey, it's quiet. Just leave the scout, and Shazam will be in Z with his M4.
Sean Gare's positioning might go unchecked here. It is OpTic swinging wide. Tarek takes a shot to the face, and Sean will clean it off. Sean taking the second as well, leaves only Nafwai standing, but he gives up his own back, and that reveals the positioning of Naf. 1v3 here for the Canadian rifler. Molotov to the feet of Sean, forces him up the ladder. The Op from a distance, no, a scout still gets the job done thanks to the precision of Amanek. Misfits bouncing back and actually resetting OpTic. A turn of events unforeseen from OpTic, and that will leave them in economic struggle. I mean, 5.3 for Rush is certainly enough to buy off of, but the other 4 have not near enough money. So nice to see OpTic just take this one on the chin. They realize, of course, that they've already gotten 4 rounds on the T side and that they don't need much more before they switch over. So just allow for Misfits to find the 3-point lead and get back into the full gun rounds so that they actually have a fighting chance.
Sean Gares is being risky here. Now, he does still have Amanek spotting this with a scout, but a scout can only do so much. And Sean Gares, yeah, he's just going to fall off. Throws a smoke, backs up, tells Amanek to do the same. Now, what I liked from Misfits in the previous round is they know they didn't have a lot to work with, so they put players in ladder. And maybe that's a conversation for later as this execution's coming out. Sean cares. This scout will save his life. The spray from Sean, a little off the mark because he only gets one. He will fall, but Amanek is not missing with the scout. He has two. The bomb is down, and Nafly's alone. He was trying to catch one player of Misfits rotating, but he doesn't catch a single one, as he is now going to run over here with his Deagle. Good damage down on Sick, as he will hit every bullet required to clean him up. That's what happens when you have big feet. You get spotted like that. As Nafly's going to try to walk down. Deviduvek won't have the same fate. He will clean it up as Misfits. You're right. We'll take a clean three-round lead, although they did lose 2 players. They have built up a little bit onto Sean Garrett, so he's not too worried about a rebuy. But good damage dealt for OpTic from what they had. They will get AKs, and including an op on Mixwell. So this is where it gets deadly.
And the op of Mixwell crack the defense open. That's going to be the big question here. Misfits going for that four-player A-site defense right away. Botched Molotov from Sick. Doesn't cost them. There's no aggression out T-Con just yet. But as I say that, Mixwell comes barreling forward. He's trying to catch an angle on the man above, but there is nobody there. Misfits still have plenty of presence on the site itself, just more towards the bomb plant, 2 over towards Ivy side. And they lie in wait. OpTic, having secured the bottom of Pop Dog, they're just going to start to rotate players through their T-spawn and back towards T-Con. That, of course, is going to be the standard A-site split, and it's going to come off of the back of the smoke here. Mixwell's line of sight gets blocked. This could give him a chance to push forward. Rush waiting for the opportunity to just peek out wide, and he does. It doesn't cost him. That's going to be a fantastic little pick from Rush. 5v4 already for the T side. They're gearing up for the push. Sick takes one, but Tarek takes it back. Men coming in from Zed Connector already as now the bomb's planted. Nafly gets this 4v3 retake underway. Shazam with the op. Amanek the scout. Very little utility for Misfits. But the players creeping in regardless. That's going to be Nafly taking the frag to Shaz. Deviduvek off the M4 finds himself another, and Amanek will take none. It is going to be Rush here, just down to the 1v2. 2 players lit, but that doesn't matter. Deviduvek with the 3K clutches this out for Misfits.
There's one little thing that Deviduvek did there at the end that kind of caught Rush looking up. He ran up the ladder, made enough noise, then kind of just side jumped off the ladder. And Rush thought he was committing to going up the ladder, looked up, and next thing you know, there's Deviduvek staring him down and gets the easy kill into Rush. Now 8-4, 4-round lead for Misfits. They're going to go into the double op. Amanek and Shazam will be wielding these. As OpTic Gaming going to take a half buy. I mean, they kind of have to here. They'll get upgraded pistols. They'll get a smoke, some armor, and we could see what they did previously when they had a buy like this. It was a quick B. It was a quick B execution. Try to get the bomb down. Try to catch Sean Garrett off guard. And Sean is just going to be a preemptive molly, just shoulder peeking this out, trying to find at least an opening frag to fall back into the site. And he has Shazam this time helping him out with the op. As he's going to continue to post up here as Shazam, waiting for more players from OpTic to come around the corner, and that's an easy second one for him. And Sean Garrett is even going to get aggressive against pistols, and he'll get caught actually through the smoke trying to fall back, but it's still, all in all, not bad for Misfits.
Still enough utility left for OpTic to go into a kind of execution, but that was nice aggression here from Misfits. They're actually able to shut down the offense before they can set up. We could see with the amount of grenades, Kevlar, and pistols that they were just hoping to go barreling into the B site, and that gets taken away from them thanks to the aggression from Shazam. Sean Garrett as well, taking one in the round already, but being traded out effectively. Nafly gets his hands on the M4, so suddenly he's ever so deadly. 45 seconds left, and OpTic want to fancy their chances over towards the A site. Trying to get this last-minute rotation inbound. Amanek already posted on the angle, though, so unless Rush is able to, or Naf is able to flash them out, it's going to be a very tough job to cross this op.
Ooh, nice quick shot as he gets them both. They both try to jump out, and that's a small gap for Amanek to spot that. That smoke blooms just with a tiny gap for him to hold, and he hits both of them as they jump across his screen. Round 14, Misfits lead 9-4. AK is aplenty for OpTic Gaming, with utility being the same. But this double op for Misfits, I like the change. As Henry G likes to talk about it, he likes the double ops as almost like a last-ditch effort or something. When things aren't going your way, you pull it out. But Misfits have kind of pulled it out now to just take the lead, take the reign, and push themselves forward. As OpTic Gaming switching up the pace, a quick play out. T-Con, there are mollies absolutely everywhere. but not a Misfit member to be found yet.
Yeah, they just forfeit this bomb site. Very content with the retake, other than Sick, who actually catches the bomb carrier itself. Nap and Mix trade it back for OpTic. That's a man advantage found, but still the bomb, it sits on the ground. And Shazam's coming rotating in from the bottom of Pop. He drops in with his op, trying to find the shot to Mixwell, who now plants that bomb. Rush cowering back towards T-Con. He gets caught with a headshot. Shazam, however, now just one of 2 players standing. Amanek with his op, Shazam has his, and there's 3 targets to find for OpTic.
Very reminiscent of a couple rounds ago with Amanek pushing with his P250, cleans up Napfly. Now last time it was his French brother together. They were able to win this. Now it is just Shazam in a 1v2. Mixwell's tagged, Tark's down to 71. That flash catches Shazam, and that should be his life gone if they peek. Instead, they don't hear the tap of the bomb. They assume Shazam is falling off, and they will be right in that assumption, as OpTic Gaming will get number 5. Misfits will have to fight for double digits coming in the next round. And at least Shazam holds on to that up. But a good round from OpTic Gaming. A quick change in pace. They've been working a lot of defaults. They've been going for B executions. And this time they go for just a quick outplay. We've seen a lot of splits down ladder, T-Con, a lurker, Ivy. This time it was a full-blown T-Con push, and it will work out for them as Misfits. They doubled up Ivy, which is rare, where you get aggressive down Ivy, you have another player there supporting you, and no one really on site for Misfits. So that's kind of what made it difficult, is they're pretty much retaking as soon as OpTic ran out.
Yeah, those Molotov just forcing them away. I mean, Sick even just kind of cowers towards the sidewall. Sure, it gives him 1 frag, but then it's quickly traded back. So just sheer aggression from OpTic really sets the tone in that most recent round. And now we find the final one on the board. The 15th is upon us. Already aggression here from Misfits. 6 gets spotted. Mixwell rains 1 shot out. And Devaduvic's looking to flank onto 2 here. Rush and the opper down. That's 3 quick frags for Misfits. Shazam will find the 4th. And so it is just Hayes now standing 1v4. He's already spotted. He's tagged. He's dead. And that's Misfits to move forward with double digits.
I mean, just take a look at that scoreboard. I mean, Hayes isn't having the best of halves. 1 frag for his name, but everyone else is kind of picking up the mantle there. You have Mixwell double digits. Tark is up there with 14, so he's performing on their map pick. Keep in mind, this is OpTic's map pick train. And Misfits, I mean, everyone's playing well. Sean Gares may be a little down, but that's all right with the rest of his team hitting the frags. Amanek stepping it up. Normally it's Devaduvec fragging out, but right now it is Amanek. But I was really impressed when that second op came out. He hit some nice clean shots with it. And he backed up his teammates nicely with the long-range angles he played. He played kind of like a rotator roll from back lane / Ivy to the B bomb site. He was just this floater with a scout from the M4 to the op near the later parts of that half. And it was looking really clean for Misfits. Sean Gares used the pieces nicely. You saw some mix-up and aggression from Misfits where they go for the double ladder strat once in Blue Moon, where they push up aggressively, leave B empty. And we also saw the opening picks that always come from Upper Brown, where Shazam would peak with an op. So I'm excited to see what OpTic Gaming bring to the CT side aggression-wise. But I'm also excited to see what Misfits may do on their T side. Is it going to be a very passive play? Are we going to see some set executions? We'll see where the pistol really takes us.
I mean, unfortunately, I think we can't dodge it this time, right? We see OpTic struggle on cash for the majority of the game, and while they almost swung things back, Tarek was a hindrance with his low frag count. You could argue that Hayes right now being 1-14 is just a missing piece for OpTic. I mean, 1 kill, man, 16 rounds or 15 rounds deep. That's obviously a horrendous stat to be putting forward. I mean, he is the stand-in. He is not a regular player, and so how much how much heat do you really want to put on him? That's the question. Regardless of that, it's still just unacceptable. It's not enough for OpTic to be firing on all cylinders. So it's understandable that they're only on 5 rounds. Then again, it was the T side of Train, so going to be more difficult for those frag players. But regardless, he definitely needs to come to life so that OpTic have all 5 players moving forward, because they didn't on cash and it cost them. Misfits arguably get the upset win, 16-14, despite the near comeback. And you'd hate to see this series actually go 2-0. I wanted something close. And if Misfits are able to win the pistol, convert that quite cleanly, suddenly OpTic are going to have another huge hill to come back from.
And I guess one thing to talk about is there wasn't too many 1vx situations there. It was a lot of Misfits would be down like in 2v4s, 3v4s, 3v5s, and they made a lot of those retakes happen on the CT side, mainly towards A. They had a couple nice retakes towards B, but Sean Garrett, Shazam, and Once in a Blue Moon, Devo Devek would come over towards B. They kind of had that site on lock once in a blue, like pretty often. And when it came down to the 1vx situations, there weren't many. There was one, and Amanek was the one to win it. So that's kind of a tale of the tape. And not only that, the ecos OpTic Gaming had to go for. They went for, I think they had 4 or 5 ecos there on that T half, and they weren't able to really get anything off the ecos. It was a good job for Misfits playing safe when they knew that it would be kind of a half buy / not too big of an investment coming in from their opponents.
Rough stuff for OpTic, certainly fighting off of the back foot. We'll give them credit, of course. They are still able to put up a acceptable T side on train,
yes.
But considering that we're speaking of one of the top 4 North American contenders, you don't really expect Misfits to really put up such numbers, or at least not in such convincing fashion. There was that one gun round that I kind of like to watch, the carpet bomb of Molotovs on the A site, when we saw OpTic really come to life and just aggressively push into the bomb site. But that kind of pace was not afforded every round because, again, of their economic struggles. So here we go, the second half of map number 2, Misfits and OpTic on train. Misfits to the T side have heavy utility in this pistol, while OpTic have none.
I'm excited to see what Sean Garrett throws from this position. He has a molly and a double flash, and he's in ladder route, while the smoke is on Amanek. So I'm excited to see what Amanek throws here. That's looking like a back green smoke, if not a back red smoke. Let's see where that did land. That did land. Okay, so Ivy, so back green, I was right. As Tark gets boosted, Rush is going to get the opener. Good trade from Shazam as Rush immediately gets gushed up. As Mixwell's here on the rotations, Rush should fall here to Devo Devek momentarily, and he will. But there is still another player on site. That's Nafly running some laps right now as Hayes is going to try to get here to help his teammate out, but not in time as he'll trade it out, but it's a 1v2 as Hayes is pushing it in from Ivy. Back green now. And the bomb's not planted, and it won't be needed to be as Shazam will put Hayes down, and Misfits will pick up their T-side pistol on what was just a brawl towards the A site.
That's the pistol round that OpTic had so hopefully wanted, and unfortunately for them, they won't get it. So big old force shining through here from OpTic. It is going to be the double AK triple ump on Misfits. That gives them enough utility to execute into the A site with a standard smoke wall. They could even just try to spread themselves thinly, watch for aggressive pushes, and then make the commitment later on. This is very much up to Misfits to decide, but Sick gets aggressive next to E-Box. That's where Shazam will take the kill. It is Tarek down for the count. Hayes off of the Deegs, able to hit himself the headshot, so that's something to work with, but Amanek roasts Hayes on the retreat. Deva Duvik furthers the control, and Sick will find the next. So Rush is all that's left, and it is a 1v4.
They try to find some frags here. There are some members tagged up here for Misfits, so there is a chance here to find a couple frags on the exits of Misfits. They are going to be staring down the barrel of 12. They even went for a boost on sight. That's very daring with the HP, and you know where Rush is to go for that. As Rush is still trying to find some skulls to exit with. Can't find a second. He will be shut down from Devo Devek. So Misfits hang on. They'll go to 12. OpTic Gaming gonna go ahead and take a little bit of a vacation here on this round. Not gonna just put your feet up. Maybe go for a little bit of a stack. Mixwell saving for the op, which you'll get in round 19. As Misfits on the players they lost will buy some SMGs, and we could see a quick play towards B, send the SMGs down, more of a slow default. Really, whatever Misfits want to do on this anti-eco, it comes down to what the pace OpTic Gaming want to set here.
Not a single cent invested from OpTic. Of course, they realize the weight that will be set on their first gun round. Sick comes barreling from Ivy. He's able to grab one frag, but Hayes actually hits the headshot thanks to the USP. Unfortunately for OpTic, the SMGs just reign supreme, and Shaz finds one off the AK. So Tarek, now 1v4. Outnumbered, outgunned. But not out of the round. I mean, he did just see that bomb planter, so he's been able to sneak his way next to the Ivy train here at the very least. Should be a matter of time. But crazy things can happen.
And shut down towards Old Hell is where he will lay. Misfits, 2 rounds from 15, 3 from closing it. Oh boy, oh boy. The yacht comes out from Mixwell. He'll even get head armor and a smoke behind it. No kit up from OpTic, and no mollies. So a quick play from Misfits is definitely possible here. Knowing that the first buy from OpTic is not going to be too strong, whether it be if they go for kits, they'll be lacking some utility, or the lack of mollies. And it looks like it is just going to be a quick play here for Misfits. Knowing the mollies aren't going to be that big of a factor. Devaduvic full blind, didn't spot that player getting into ladder, so keep that in mind. There's a player in ladder from OpTic. As Mixwell from backside is trying to find some frags. Hayes through the smoke. We'll say goodnight to Devaduvic. As Mixwell is still living in, still fragging, as he'll clean up Sean Gares. And it kind of just slowly falls apart from here on out for Misfits.
Crucial round here for OpTic to come to life in. Sick at this point just wants to deal more damage. He knows, of course, that OpTic are low, but 4 players standing is great for OpTic. That's going to keep Misfits still 2 short of securing OT, 3 of the win. Of course, they're going to have so much money that they can reinvest into this one. But that was a convincing round from OpTic. Misfits attempt to clash on the A site, and they just get shut down. OpTic immediately going into that double op setup. We alluded to it previously, Seaside, and it shines through yet again. Mixwell and Nafly, not Tarek.
Interesting. Really don't mind it if the shots are hit. They're going to boost over the smoke. So you notice Misfits throw their own T-Con smoke. And OpTic Gaming are aware of this. So they're not going to peek too often into this. It's Mixwell nade in. Strauss finds the shot under the Opper boosted. And the nade from Rush will find Sean Garrett. So that's way to deal with a double stack in towards T-Con as Devaduvic going to go ahead and smoke it off. Push himself into T-Con. He'll pick up the op and scurry his way out of there. So again, not a good start to a round for Misfits. From the quick play getting shut down to Mixwell just continuing to be a thorn in your side. As Almanac's going to nade down into ladder, throw a flash. He may drop down in near field X2, and he will. Now no one is going to be home from OpTic, as you can see how passive they're being now. Aggression early, they get the frags, and they just elect to fall off of it. No reason to keep pressing.
Misfits would love for a bomb plant, or at least damage dealt, because if the economy of a CT side gets rolling on train, it can be so hard to fight back to. Mixwell catches the exit from T-Con. Sick retrieves the op, and he does jump across. But still no targets to present themselves. Of course, he's got that bomb, but Rush spots his kneecaps and starts to dwindle down his health. He sits on 28. Hayes is going to be coming in from the USP, and he will be able to grab that kill. That drops the bomb and leaves Amanek 1v5.
Well, gonna try to stay alive with 10 seconds remaining, but Tarek is not gonna have any of it. OpTic Gaming, they will pick up 2 in a row, and Misfits gonna be sent down to a little bit of a break, a little bit of a lax kind of round. You'll see a P250 bought up, but Deagle on Devaduvic. As Misfits still on the hunt to get 14. Now, last time, they were stuck on 14 for quite some time. So maybe they can get over that hump. They'll get 14, 15 cleanly. As OpTic Game will continue this double op, and it is still going to be carried by Nafly. As Hayes is going to continue to play back green / sandwich positions. He will trust his teammate Rush to hold Ivy. And there you have it. There's the opener from Rush all the way down from back green. Now we'll find that player jumping out T-Con early.
I mean, Misfits at this point are just buying the time, but even with time spent, I don't think they're going to find much here. They have no smoke grenades, no flashbangs, absolutely nothing barring pistols, and that's certainly not enough. Maybe Sean Gares can overwhelm somebody over towards Ivy if the players at T-Con distract long enough, but at this point, it's Shazam with a headshot. Amanek takes one with a pistol. That's something to play. Sean Gares comes in late, and that is where he's toppled. So there you have it. Rush with a fantastic 4K on the anti-eco. OpTic moved to 8, and Misfits still sit on 13. Is this the gun round that finally gets the T-side back on the board, though? That's going to be the big question. It is again the double op setup from OpTic, and we saw that pay dividend thus far. We'll see if they can assert themselves yet again with those cannons versus the 5 Kalashnikovs of Misfits.
Now, the B site, correct me if I'm wrong, has still been relatively untouched from Misfits. It's kind of been all A. It's been IV and A. It's been a lot of quick plays. It's been holding and then going out T-Con a little delayed with the execution. Smokes over. As look at this push from Hayes. This is extremely aggressive. He has to wait for his own molly to dissipate before he gets out of there. He's lucky that smoke bloomed when it did, as Sean cares. Entries on a Nafly. Mixwell falling back. Amanek will cross. That's a missed shot from Mixwell, but he won't miss the second. As that nade may even be good for Amanek, and it will be. So that's 2 huge frags now as Rush is working up oil. There is still 2 mollies in play, but there are smokes for OpTic, so that's not a worry right now. As Davidovec gets traded out on the A site, and you have to think OpTic Gaming are going to get on this bomb soon.
Zam's going to drop the Molotov towards the bomb itself. That is still 1 smoke for Mixwell to extinguish the flames. Doesn't really hit the mark, but it will still cover it. Sick able to spray. He takes the bomb diffuser down, and Sick will hit the second. It is just going to be down to Tarek, trying to move in quickly. He has himself the kit, but there's just no time. Misfits, despite being cleared off the board, have done it. They will move to 14.
You know what makes me uncomfortable there is how is Sick allowed down ramp? They even smoke it. They have 4 members alive against the 2. They have 1 player holding upper. Tarek is holding upper, so maybe that's a mixed communication coming in for OpTic, perhaps. No one was holding the ramp. The smoke was even deep enough so you can see the doors, the entrance from the ramp. And Sick's allowed to get down there for free. I don't believe there's a sidewalk smoke. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I don't believe there was. So Sick gets out relatively for free, sprays down both players on site. And now we're put in a situation here where it's almost... It's reset potential for Misfits, but they can get 15. And this is the change in pace I like to see. A quick B play is coming out.
Yeah, they're going to just immediately force Nafly back, and they actually take the frag here. So immediate bomb plant as well from Misfits as they continue their push forward. Mixwell's got that single op on the board. Amanek next to the smoke tries to flash his way through. He's just looking for some kind of a kill. He wants to hinder this CT side. So much damage already dealt, but that's a 2-man advantage for Misfits, and forward positioning towards the site as well. OpTic Gaming at this point, they see the save, they have the exit, and they're just going to have to take it. That's Misfits to move to a secured OT and 7 map points for OpTic.
That's a scary prospect all of a sudden. Misfits will throw the UMPs away as they're allowed to go hunting. And they would like to hold on to these 3 AKs, or 2 AKs and 1 M4. Now, OpTic Gaming will hold on to an op, and I don't want to speak too soon. They will. They'll hold on to the op, and they'll hold on to those 2 M4s. Now, Misfits are on 15, and this is on OpTic Gaming's pick. This would be a 2-0 for Misfits, and they will take the whole event over OpTic Gaming, something not a lot of people saw coming. Unless, of course, you did the predictions, and you did see us coming, and you may be one of the few. As Misfits will continue with the UMP, they'll get rifles, full utility, and all in all, a strong buy from OpTic. Those players staying alive, dropped, Nafly under the mag, and this round is pretty much for all the marbles, as so will the other ones on the way from here on out.
I mean, OpTic still have a very good buy, and they can still come back into this. I don't doubt them individually. The problem is they've given themselves such a small margin of error that the slightest of mistakes will cost them not just this map, their tournament life as well. Second place is ever so bittersweet. Nafly, as the smoke goes parading past him, looks to make contact, but nobody's there to present themselves. Hearing that bomb drop does give an audio cue to Tarek. He's sitting underneath the ladder, and he certainly heard it. So he knows there's presence towards those box halls. This might keep some players from OpTic over towards the B site as they try to predict the execution, but for now, Misfits gear up for A. That's 4 players back towards spawn. A follow-up smoke on Amanek, but he too starts to retreat here.
I like that bomb drop from Misfits. It keeps 2 players from OpTic Gaming, 1 player in ladder. Just the sound of the bomb dropping keeps OpTic Gaming so alert. As now the push from Info. Nafly's going to push up with a bag 7. And if Amanek finds his kill, no, it's shut down from Nafly. Not only that, all the info gained. Hayes takes a peek, tries to spray him down. Gets one in a gush. So Sean Gare's down to 7. Sick's going to run out with 25 seconds remaining. Time's becoming an issue. Sick can't land it. There's 2 players spotted. Mixwell on site, and it's all on Davidovec. A 1v4, and OpTic Gaming are not done yet. They are still in this, and Mixwell and co will hold on as Misfits are going to have to take a... See, now this is a crossroads they have to kind of bridge here. Do they go for the buy, the 4 AKs, light in the pockets, or do you let OpTic Gaming double digits? And they're going to go for it. Now, this is that they're down to $1,400. Keep that in mind. they will only get 1900 next round. So this is a window. This is a big turnaround right now for OpTic Gaming.
Early A-site defense from OpTic. They're going to put 3 players towards the site. Misfits already starting to box them in as they go Ivy heavy this round. That's going to test Hazed, who has had more impact in the second half than the first. Near tenfold. But is he prepared to stop the 3-man push? Again, that leaves 1 player over towards the back of Brown and a last man out towards T-spawn for the T side. Smokes come raining in, and that's Hayes to response with a Molotov. Sections off Misfits, prevents the push for now, but that won't stop it in the long term.
Molly from Rush just on the edge of that smoke, so they're allowed to get out. The nade will deal some damage, but Rush will take some in return. So Misfits get a couple players out. Back lanes, Mixwell with the op now has Shazam kind of stuck here. It comes down to how that peek comes through from Shazam as Omnic gets down ladder, starting to cause some issues. Hayes caught top green. They're all missing shots, but finally it'll get cleaned up as Sick is going to push Tarek down, tag to 19, but Tarek is turning it up when they need him. And Natfly finds Sean Gares, OpTic Gaming double digits. And keep in mind, I mentioned it, Misfits went all in. $1,900 is all they get. Davidovec will show that in all its glory, as they're going to have to take a save round here, and OpTic Gaming can get their foot in the door.
So this one should be nothing for the side of Misfits. They have only P250s, and 4 of them. No utility, not a single flash, not a smoke to exit out onto the B site. Bare bones minimum. Amanek trying to make a bit of a ruckus towards the top of B. Draws the attention of Nafly, who does actually fall further back. That would create space for Misfits to just come barreling into the site to try and grab that bomb plant, but they've yet to commit anything whatsoever. Misfits just buying their time.
The army of P250s and 1 Glock. Shazam can't even afford to go for anything here. Just a full save. And they are going to get $2,400 after this. As Maxwell will hold the ramp. Nafly just going to be waiting for them to peek back here towards upper. There's no utility to allow them to get out. Nafly gets dinked, but he's going to continue to tap, and he only gets 1 for his troubles. This may be a bomb plant, because Maxwell can only shoot 1 at a time as they fall out. He can't exactly spray them all down as Sick. He may burn to death, but he's done his job. The nade from Rush finds it as Maxwell, actually, excuse me, Rush will find Shazam. But all in all, Misfits for $300 times 4. The minimal investment to make 800 per player, plus the 300 for planner. That's a good turnaround.
Decent enough. It certainly puts Misfits in the position to buy. However, it won't include an op unless someone goes glass cannon, and Shazam will make that sacrifice. So he holds on to a single smoke, he grabs himself the op. 4 AKs, fully equipped players are the rest of Misfits. And we'll see if Shaz can get this done. Now he's going to head out towards Ivy, a typical op dueling playground, but he actually holds passively back towards spawn, so he wants someone to come to him. And there is someone dangerously close, that's Hazed. I do not remember him getting hyper-aggressive and actually peeking out towards the T side of Ivy, but he has played close towards server before, so already starting to fall back is he. OpTic to the 3-2 split, favoring the A site.
It's looking very likely. Sean Gares is going to fall back. He's going to be that another smoke towards T spawn as they're going to line them up to get him to rain in towards outer sight. Amnek will keep pressure here as Davidovec's going to go ahead and flash Ivy to at least keep these OpTic Gaming members on their toes and keep 1 player back there. As they're getting ready to gain some ladder control, Sean Gares just going to grab the bomb. And he is going to head towards Upper Brown. He's shoulder peeking this. Maybe he wants to show the bomb. He's going to... I think his game plan here is if someone's shoulder peeking this, and if he can show bomb polar rotation and then immediately transition down ladder. Sick is lining up their smokes. They'll throw them out. And this is going to be a full execution for Misfits. The one that can possibly end it all.
Going to get pressured, though, towards ladder side. Tarek takes 1, Sick immediately trading it back here, so the offense comes forward. That's going to be Rush trying to retreat as Hayes hits himself the headshot. Devaduvic finds one, near two, but no. It is just Shazam still standing. He knows that Hayes is here. He's trying to find the angle, and he misses the shot.
Wow.
Gives Hayes the chance, and Hayes will take the frag. OpTic now 3 away from forcing OT, but I'm getting flashbacks to Cash already. I cannot count Misfits out, despite them being back to pistols.
And one thing OpTic Gaming did really... There's just a great job from OpTic there on that hold is the counter flashes. Constantly counter flashing. They're flashing to allow those teammates that were a bit too aggressive towards Sandwich to fall back after peeking. They're trying to give that broom that time for them to fall back, and then peeking together, making decisions together to peek off site. The counter nades were great, as it's looking like a little bit of a P pressure early. Good molly, baits out some utility from the B player, and Sean Garrett sneaks his way down ladder. Now, Misfits would love another bomb plant, and if these Tech-9s are allowed to swarm and get up close and personal, it can spell a little bit of danger for the side of OpTic Gaming, as they're going to wait for the smoke to dissipate, and another one lands, so Sean Garrett's going to be waiting a bit longer, but I think they have to run through it.
An entire armada of smoke grenades here pluming towards the A site. Tarek's got a great position to try and counter this, but he actually starts shooting into the piping, so it's Hayes who has to come up with the kill. It will be Sick to near find the plant, but he is stopped in the process. Rush with a frag, Hayes with another, and these Tech-9s are coming up empty-handed. Sure, they've dealt some damage, but it is OpTic across the kill feed. Amanek taking 1 kill in this, but they don't find the plant they'd hoped for, and that is OpTic now 2 shy of forcing overtime. It's still there, Seaside. Oh, so dangerously close.
Still on the table. The third map is still right around the corner. If Misfits just let off the gas a little bit, like they have been, maybe getting stuck trying to switch gears, OpTic Gaming will take advantage of that. Double op still. Mixwell and Half-Fly are the ones to wield those, while Misfits will get Shazam on it. And we're going to see Shazam, number 1 on your minimap, head towards Upper Brown. He's going to try to find this opening ramp pick instead. He'll be greeted with a nade from Half-Fly down to 54, right off the rip. As he is going to wait for a repeat, but it's not going to happen. As Misfits, they could be going for a walk-down contact play here. But the smoke being thrown, a good flash, doesn't find Mixwell, and he just finds a tag. That must have hit something on the way in, as Sick has to put out the molly. Good counter nades, and Sick will burn to 10, but the molly's raining in from Misfits. This is going to become a brawl, and it's going to become one very soon.
Nafly's able to drop Amanek, though, and there was 1 frag still left. That's on Rush. He could kill 2 of these players with that single nade if it hits the target slightly. Devaduvic's able to plant the bomb, so it's a man advantage for OpTic on the retake, and they're already starting to get this rolling. Hayes finds the headshot. That's Sean Gares down. Still 3 players up. Shazam and Sick take 2 before Sick is dropped. Mixwell takes Shazam, so it is just Devaduvic, and he reveals himself with the frag onto Mixwell and swings it to 1v2. Hayes caught looking the wrong way, but Tarek saves it. And that is OpTic 1 round closer. We have gone the distance on back-to-back maps. Round number 30 is here. Last time we saw Misfits seal the deal. Can they do it again?
Now take $800 away from everyone's money before they buy. That would not be looking too good. So that bomb plant was kind of mission critical there for Misfits. That's the one saving grace they have going to round 30's buy. And if Hayes, he was expecting Devaduvic to go through the smoke. The good thing he had a teammate there, and what do you think about the auto buy on a Nafly? Not going with the op, he's going to the auto at such a critical time, and he's going to be just sitting in Z, content to allow them to smoke and get down if they wish. But the auto would pop shots through there all day. As Misfits are just going to settle into a default. This is a tournament default. Could be the winning default. But OpTic Gaming are getting ready to push us to the brink. Smoke's come out and Sick's going to go. He's going to be the first one to push towards Sandwich, waiting for his flashes to come through from his team. And he spots Rush, but Hayes is still alive here. He went through the smoke, and the kills are going all over the place. As Sick through the smoke, lines him up. He gets 2. Yes, he can. Third is on the site. That is Mixwell just dancing around. He finds it. It's just Shazam now. 1v1 against Mixwell, and we're going to OT. I wake up my whole family, but it is worth it as OpTic Gaming make the run back.
The opping from Mixwell there in the 30th round is ever so crucial. You see how Sick can get himself through the smoke. He takes 2 players out of the round, and you almost think it's done. But OpTic able to hold on, and here we go, Seaside. Map number 2, Misfits already has cash in their pocket. And this isn't done. Let's not count Misfits out just yet, but definitely props to OpTic. They're able to hold the line, and they do not falter once they arrive to the 30th round. So we are going back into MR310K with Misfits starting to the T side.
Is this our first OT we've casted?
Throughout the entirety of the CyberPower Cup, this is the first overtime.
And what a time to have it.
In the grand finals, yeah, on elimination map.
Now, I don't know about you. Personally, I am a huge fan of MR310K. MR316K, I don't know why, but I'm a big fan of economic struggles when it comes to OT. I feel like that adds another layer of like a regular match to OT, where 16K, you ain't broke ever. you're just comfy.
I mean, there's literally two schools of thought, right? It's like economy management is a part of Counter-Strike throughout the first 30 rounds, so why shouldn't it be a part of overtime? If you agree with that, then you're going to be a fan of MR310K, where if a CT side doesn't win the first two, they're going to be left deflated in the third. Then again, you can make the argument that overtime should be just gun rounds, and that's when 16K shines through. So I think it's just individual preference. I personally think that 16K gives you better Counter-Strike because it is just rifles through and through, and it really does suck to see those third rounds from a CT side if they don't get it in the first of the two. But again, it is literally just personal preference. There's arguments for and against each.
Well, I'm excited nonetheless for this one. It should be exciting because I feel like both teams have had stellar CT sides. The T sides have kind of had not too much breathing room. We've seen both teams go for aggressive plays towards brown halls. Ivy has kind of been this uncontested gray area for both teams, though. I mean, both teams went for it a couple rounds, but it was almost untouched for the majority of this match. It's been a lot of inner executes. It's been a lot of smoke down, rush in towards B, get the bomb planted, and then set executes towards A, which makes for exciting Counter-Strike nonetheless.
No, you're absolutely right. It's been riveting stuff. And now, finally, with all 10 players ready, overtime is about to begin. So again, Misfits will continue on from their T side, where they came up a little short. They were able to win the pistol and 2 conversion points, then 2 gun rounds halfway through, but that was it. That was their entirety of 5 rounds. So what's going for OpTic in this point is that they lost on their T-side pistol, which meant that their 5 rounds come straight out of gun victories, which is fantastic considering that right now they start off on that full replenished 10K economy. Here we have it, overtime 1, OpTic and Misfits.
Now, Nafly's going for the no utility auto so he can buy one next round, win or lose too. Do you like this as a play?
I'm just not a fan of the auto sniper.
Yeah.
Unless you're the kind of player who can always shine through with it. I think Arya from Splice with an auto sniper, I'll never question it because I know he can use the gun. But think of the infamous Smith's clip, where he misses like 13 of the 20 bullet mag.
Yeah.
That's a player who's not used to it, so don't buy it unless you know what you're doing. Maybe Nafly proves himself. It's going to be a test on the B site if they head this way.
Yeah, and it comes down to the smokes. How much vision can they disrupt from this auto? What awkward position are they going to put him in? Does he have to go top trains with no head armor and just get deleted into the next round, or is he gonna work around these smokes and find a gap to light them all up? As we'll see the smokes, flashes, mollies raining in, and he's starting to damage with it. Nafly looks like he's accustomed to it. He's got 2 and looking for the 3rd, and he's good for it. Looking for the 4th, Nafly. He's making me eat my words live on camera as he's gotten 4 with the auto from back yellow. Good night, Misfits, into this round, I suppose.
What's crazy as well is that he tries that in the 30th round, and he does just go for that one solo man hold on the B site, but they never head to B, so Misfits have no reason to expect an auto sniper, and because that doesn't get read, because they never see it, Nafly feels confident in moving it forward and trying it in overtime. There's an example of how it can pay off. A 4K on the round with it. Love it or hate it, it surely just shut Misfits down, and that's OpTic with the opener in overtime.
Jeez. Well, when it rains, it pours, I suppose. Misfits are going to be a little running low if they lose this one. They will have the op and everything at nice back out into their hands. Rush getting aggressive in towards ladder. As Hazed again tries to get aggressive towards Ivy, will just think twice about it and fall off. Flash won't quite catch Rush. That nade will, however, down to 54. And he has support pushed up here from Tarek. So they're playing a little bit bait and switch. What Tarek will hold towards T-Con, and if Rush needs to, he can swing and help his teammate. But it looks like finally we're going to see a little bit of Ivy pressure. And this is going to be the test for Nafly. He's rotated out of B to hold Ivy with Hazed.
Nobody on OpTic presenting themselves. You can see how Misfits are just trying to pry for some kind of a pick, but They get nothing at the time being, so they start to shuffle that bomb back towards T-Con instead. There are 4 defenders here at the A site for the most part because they do have Mixwell pushed aggressively at B. But Sean Garris is trying to find an avenue through all of these smokes. He throws the frag, he spams a couple of shots, and he does have attention trained on him. Can the rest of Misfits puncture in while he has the distraction?
Rush and Tark are committed to this, and it will pay off eventually. They'll find 6. Shazam's going to swing on this with Devil Duvek. No, Devil Duvek goes alone, and that is perfect timing from Almanac to drop down. Now an auto and an op to try to hold on towards A, as Hayes is just still sitting, waiting for some kind of Ivy pressure. 20 seconds. Misfits have to get the bomb to the site, and they have to get it there soon. You can see Mix Wonder minimap working through T-Apps. As Hayes jumps up top, Green catches Shazam looking the wrong way. Bomb's going down. Hayes' shots are just off the mark. But Hayes has done enough to allow his teammates some time to get into position.
Nafly coming in from Old Bomb, but it's Mixwell from T-Con to take himself the kill. Sean Garris now from a 1v3 turned 1v2 versus the scope weaponry. He jumps and it costs him. He's out in the open. Mixwell and Naf will pinch on, and that's OpTic with both rounds here in overtime. 1 away from the flawless CT side. Misfits certainly getting that bomb plant will ensure them a bye in the next, but it's not going to be the best of buys as Sick and Shazam will struggle. Regardless, this is a fantastic turn of events here from OpTic. Again, their CT side was looking great, and they've managed to hold on in OT. 3-0 sweep would be fantastic for them. Misfits need at least this one, at least something, so that they don't have to fight solely for double overtime, but the win could still be on the table.
Well, we mentioned both teams have been having superb CT sides. Maybe 1 T round's all they need. I mean, that's all Misfits need, and they need to grab it now. This is their last chance to put a T round on the board, and it's not starting well with Tark opening it up. And Tark's gonna find 2 for his troubles. That's the bomb down. Tark gets a 3rd on the pistol. He gets all 4. Tark's a madman with the help of Hayes, who only gets 1 there. OpTic Gaming, a clean CT side round. As you can look at the stats from regular time to OT time, as it has just been pretty much OpTic Gaming here from the later parts of the second half all the way through to OT. And you know what? We may see Mirage sooner than we think.
Yeah, it's only going to take 1 from OpTic on their T side to seal the deal here in map number 2. I mean, that was a 10-5 half from Misfits in the opening bout. Turned on its head and brought back by OpTic. Great CS through and through. Individual plays shining out. I mean, considering that Hayes had 1 kill at the end of the first half, for him to now be at 19, he's definitely kind of found his footing. It was both of the IGLs kind of struggling here, both between Hayes and Sean Garris, and it's Hayes who now takes that charge back. So here we are, the second half of the first overtime, with Misfits needing a flawless CT 3-0. Immediately, Shazam's going to invest himself into the AWP and an auto for Sean Garris.
Well, I don't know how I feel about this Misfits buy. Now, we've had our thoughts on autos before, but with the double op setup, this makes retaking difficult. It really relies on getting the picks and holding on to the sites. As soon as you concede one, that's pretty much all you wrote. So Misfits have to be very advantageous with how they go about this. And Shazam's going to hold towards Ivy. Now, Mixwell is here. It comes down to how Shazam wants to play it. And a smoke is what it's going to be. So we'll have to sit and wait it out. Shazam goes top green to look towards T-Con. There are 3 players here from OpTic, while Sean Garris is pulling a buck out of Nafly's play and just going to sit and almost solo B, but he does have Almanac there.
Still forward positioning coming in from Misfits. That's Sick next to the E-box. Mixwell's trying to pry for a pick here towards Ivy. Gets smoked off, so this now allows for them to start to peek on in. Tarek taking 2. The defense starts to crumble as Rush will find another. OpTic looking to force this into the 3rd map. Unless Sean and Amanek can come up big. That's 1 frag off the auto and into the 2v3. Sean sectioned off thanks to the smoke. The frag grenade goes out, but Rush will take the headshot, so Sean needs the clutch. And if he can't find it, we are going the series distance. Sean Garris starting to gear things up. The flashbang rains over, but the Molotov burns him off, and Mixwell will hit it. That is it. OpTic, after a 5-10 start, have managed to get themselves into the 3rd map, and Mirage will be the decider.
I was just all OpTic after they weather the storm of Misfits on their initial T side start. Just OpTic Gaming weather it. They bring it back. They start stringing rounds together. They push OT. Then they take OT cleanly. The first OT we've seen, and it has been a clean sweep as we jump over to Mirage. And I mean, just look at the numbers put up. Tariq from Cash being almost irrelevant, not there, to turning up. What a turnaround for him. Hazed. You know what? You got to tip your hat where your tipping your hat's due. Is Hayes was on, what, one frag after a half? Not a half, like 8 rounds? Something like that, around that.
No,
and he turns it around. Was it half? He had 1 kill.
Full half, 1 kill.
Okay, and turns it around to 19 in 1 half and 4 rounds in OT. So good on him to turn it around. Everyone from OpTic picked it up near the end. Sean Garrett was a little quiet. He had some clutch situations, and he just couldn't turn it around as just OpTic Gaming really started to turn up the heat in the kitchen a little bit.
So Mirage will be map number 3, and it's coming up quickly. We will take a break between them, and during that break, I suggest you guys head to our giveaway, cyberpowerpc.cevo.com/giveaway. Video cards, solid-state drives, mechanical keyboards, all up for grabs, and it costs you nothing but your time. So go ahead and do that while we do give these players and ourselves a break. We'll be back for the decider here at the CyberPowerPC Extreme Gaming Series 2017. See you guys in a bit. Welcome back, boys and girls. OpTic Misfits map number 3. All of a sudden, things looked in question after the opening 10-5 start there on Train, but OpTic were able to assert themselves on the comeback and made magic happen in overtime. 2 incredibly close maps thus far in the series, and we will have a third one on the line in the form of Mirage. Now, we watched Mirage OpTic earlier today. That was versus Splice, and honestly, they just dominated Splice. It was a matter of double opping, just transitioning amongst players. We kind of saw it first and foremost between Mixwell and Tarek. Then Nafly came alive with it as well, and through, OpTic Gaming just looked great. So I'm a little worried for Misfits, although they had individual prowess of their own. It will be OpTic picking up the knife round, and so their choice to start CT.
Yeah, it was the double hop, as you mentioned, on the CT side that kind of just locked down Splice. Didn't really have much going for them. They're very flat, so maybe Misfits will bring a little more depth, a little more structure to their T side, put up a bit more of a fight, know how to handle the double ops that's floating around and picking you off non-stop, as this definitely is going to be a BO3 to remember here, as we're going to jump into it momentarily, waiting for the players to ready up, as we will see a pistol round, and I can already tell you what we're probably going to see. We're going to see Sean Garris pick up some utility, maybe even a second player on Misfits picking up a little bit of utility for the squad. And it's going to be an exciting one that I cannot wait for.
There's always this awkward limbo phase where it's like, yeah, game's going live. And then they win the knife round and just decide not to ready, as if they shouldn't just be sitting there ready to type .ready. So that's what we're in right now. Please do bear with us. We're just waiting on one. The picture has been painted through and through, I would argue. I mean, we did see OpTic kind of resurge in that last map, but it can't be left alone. This was a series that I thought OpTic would take quite convincingly. Again, I predicted that we'd have these two teams in the grand finals, but I thought OpTic could easily assert themselves, and they have been struggling. There's no reason not to believe that they're going to struggle on the third map, even though they made that comeback happen. Sure, it's happened twice now, but that's 2 slow starts followed by 2 comeback attempts, one of which successful. So we'll see if OpTic Gaming can turn this on its head, can completely obliterate Misfits in the third map, or if Misfits continue to make them squirm. Either way, you are correct, Seaside. It is utility for Sean Garris, and the same for Devaduvic, a sight for Misfits.
Yeah, I know when I've watched them play Mirage, they love these double smokes. We may see another push in towards CT here. Hayes. Now, the last time we saw Hayes in this situation where the exact same execution came out from Splice, he did a nice job of falling back and staying alive and allowing his teammates to come save him. So Shazam gets himself to dumpsters, and they're going to double stack here. Now, it's hard to hit this, but if 3-primers come around, and Shazam gets caught looking down with his clock not out, but Sick doesn't matter if he can find 2. Shazam's pushing, and there's no one else left. It's all Sick and Sean Garris to find the frag, and it's Tarek and Mixwell fighting in from stairs, as they may find the head of Sean Garris if they're not careful. Tarek gonna have to tap the bomb to bait him out. He'll swing, as it is now just Tarek. Shazam's pushing in from CT, 1v1, and it looks like Shazam has changed his route as he pushed into jungle. Tarek tried to peek CT. He needed to find a 1v1 and quick, but now I think time's becoming a bit too late, and I don't think he has it. He will not, even with the kit, actually. Nope. That is not going to be it. He'll get the spray out at least to remember that moment. That is going to be Misfits pistol. The smoke stairs, smoke jungle, and the CT push. Worked like a charm.
Always try to stick it, no matter what. You have 2 options. You either stick it and maybe you get away with like a millisecond defuse, or you turn around and get a cool spray on the wall. Weigh your options. Either way, he has to run to CT spawn in order to go grab that kit. That is why we see Tarek disengage from the bomb site after having just tapped it once. Shazam as well, coming out from jungle, just tries to clear the bomb, because had that been a stick from Tarek, had he had the kit, that would have been an easy defuse. But unfortunately for Tarek, he has to go elsewhere and then come back for the retake attempt. So Misfits win the pistol, as done in both halves of Train. And so here they are yet again. Nafly to the top of middle, has that CZ in hand. He's hoping that somebody for the T side just overstays their welcome and oversteps the corner, but for the time being, no one has done so. Misfits just lingering outside ramp and keeping Sick towards Palace.
Shazam has to be careful here. He is all alone, so if he gets pushed, it could spell trouble. And if Hayes keeps his push going, he's going to spot the bomb, and he does still hear players towards A ramp. And that's why OpTic Gaming are pulling these players back off of mid in towards connector. They're aware that a player could have been pushed. They spot hazed. Well, there was going to be a player jumping over. That was going to be Devoduvic, but they're going to elect not to chase. And now OpTic Gaming have transitioned that, rotating back to A to push to underpass. And they find Amanek pretty much sleeping on his monitor as Shazam tries to push up mid to find a refrag, but he's not going to get it. It is looking good for OpTic right here as they're just catching Misfits off guard all over across the map.
It's just Sean, and down he goes. OpTic Gaming assert themselves on pistols. I mean, they went for that mid-stack straight away. They had one player over at the A-bomb site and 4 guys inside mid. They wait, they set their trap, and by the time they spring it, it does leave Misfits upset versus pistols. So OpTic able to scratch one away, and that's exactly what they'd hoped for. We saw both of the pistol rounds go the way of Misfits on train, and then they actually converted it fully both times. So this is unprecedented territory for OpTic. A pistol reset right after. 6 gonna have that one Catalyst AK for Misfits, the only rifle in play off of them. The double Tech 9 double Deagle is what surrounds it.
Amanek will get shut down from Nafly to start this one off. As you're going to see Rush and Tarek just lock down B. Hayes with the MP9 and Ninja. Spot sick. Gets a Gush, but that gun doesn't do too much damage against players with head armor. As Nafly is going to try to pick up the mantle and hold down the A site. Sprays a little preemptively, so Sean Gares will cross, will get the bomb planted. There's going to be a molly in the mid of sight, as Devoduvic just going to crouch and hide in towards Firebox. As the retake starts here from OpTic Gaming.
Mixwell's going to have a clear line of sight from that CT spawn. There's still a lot of utility to play off of. Devoduvic hits 1 after Tarek trades it back. So still the 3 versus 3 retake attempt, but that's Tarek removed. Sick gets the kill. Nafly with the trade, and Rush is going to get caught out in the open, but he's got enough time to find the defuse and that kill as well. So OpTic going to convert their point, although a difficult round at that. Nafly finding the 3K, but still 4 players down thanks to the aggression there from Misfits. Misfits dealing damage, but also planting the bomb, puts their economy in a decent state, although it's not going to be enough to buy. So they will have to just take one for the team, as OpTic will have weapons, and they will have Tech 9s.
Could see another basic smoke execute towards A to at least get a bomb down. What I like to see is here a mid-site smoke, a stairs, and a jungle smoke. Allows you to run out and get the bomb planted. We could be something similar to that. As that's going to be a good nade in from Naf. It will do a little bit of damage on towards Shazam, tickle him down to 2 lucky 7s. As Nafly is going to be playing close with the MP9, no head armor. As that is going to be the mid-site smoke, or actually it's CT smoke, excuse me. We'll see Hayes jump up on top of it, knowing they won't have much to go as Nafly is going to peek from under Pelt. Gets 1, but a great flash from Misfits. They'll catch him sleeping as Shazam. The D got a Hayes. Now, the one thing OpTic have going for them are the rifles and the gap in the smoke, but it's another bomb planted for Misfits.
Tarek's already close for the retake, but he prioritizes the man afar. It is still Mixwell that drops Sean Gares. That's the player off of Ticket. Crossfire pays off as Mixwell finds 3. Rush dinked back by Shazam thanks to the dig. Shazam crossing in the open will be dropped by Tarek. And that's OpTic with another one. But very good job to Misfits. Again, contesting the A site, getting kills, and finding bomb plants. It is only 36 points of health that keeps OpTic from death. And considering it was Tech 9s for Misfits, that's a great round for them.
Twice in a row, it's almost made possible with pistols. Round 3, 1 player single eye from OpTic. Round 4, 2. And you're right, just Tech 9s that time. Not even that single AK out on Sick. And it is going to be a full buy. Devoduvic will get utility. I believe he still has money left over. Wait, he has $1,000 and he's not buying any utility. Wonder what the reasoning here is. Perhaps. You know what? I can't explain this one. Same with Amanek with only having a smoke. Maybe you can figure this out for me?
Nope.
Makes no sense. And
Flashbang comes out, and Hayes gets cut down. He had the positioning there, but it just doesn't pan off. So the 2 MP9s are now removed from the equation. Misfits going to keep contesting the A site. Sean Gare's trying to cross here. He is just going to try to plant that bomb, and no peek will stop him. Very exposed, but at the same time very successful as the 5v3 for Misfits shines through.
Amanek gets himself in towards connector. Mixwell just running through. Can't win the duel against Sean Gares. And Tarek is just going to fall off. No point staying around to die. He's hoping someone from Misfits will push him. But look at the HP on Misfits, too. They're even doing a little bit of hunting. A little bit of goodwill hunting. Tark's just going to sit here. Sean Garrett swings, and Sean Garrett is good for it. He gets 2. And that got kind of awkward the way that played out. The lack of utility, and then the push through the smoke. You thought Shazam was dead for sure, but he hits that close-range shot. 3-2. As OpTic Gaming now, they're going to have their economy kind of in a little bit of shambles. Mixwell's rich. Nafly is 3,500. And I'm actually surprised here Mixwell doesn't drop a couple pistols, because he will be able to afford the op on 1,900, but gonna elect not to.
Not a single cent spent for OpTic. Nothing. Nada. 3 players to the A site. I mean, we did see that one pistol stack happen inside of middle, but when that happens, of course, it is just on upgraded pistols in Kevlar. So the full vanilla save should net them absolutely nothing. Misfits have 0 excuses in the world to lose this round.
You know what? Believe it or not, I have watched full USPs win around before. You never really know until it happens, as Nafly and Mixwell, all of a sudden, just the last 2 remaining, and while it is just Mixwell, just a Science USP, shut down from Ominek. Very cut and dry round coming in from Misfits. They will answer back with 2 in a row now, and they have 3 rounds on the board, but that includes 1 pistol for OpTic Gaming to immediately pick up the second and string 3 together of their own. So back and forth to start this game off. A buy from OpTic. Hazed is going to have to UMP it here, I believe. No, he FAMASes it. Okay, so I think someone... Mixwell dropped him. All right, that makes sense. So Mixwell drops. So FAMAS, op out on Tark of all people. It's not going to be Mixwell this time around. Tark gets utility behind it and a kit. So they get 2 M4s, 2 FAMASes. Lightning utility when it comes down to rush Mixwell and Haze. But the op may be the difference maker here.
Dick's going to catch the headshot onto Mixwell, so that's a great entry frag for him. Meanwhile, Rush already spots feet here towards Catwalk, so he knows they're on the other side of this. Flashbang goes both ways. Tarek slightly blind. Rush still ambiguous within the ladder, trying to keep an eye towards window, but also for the push, and that's where Sean Garrett takes him. Another second headshot coming in from Misfits. Sick trades it back onto the op of Tarek, so 4 versus 2 is what Misfits garnish themselves. And now Amanek needs to remove a man from the back of bench. Sick will get it done. It just leaves Hazed. 1v4. He's on the opposite side of the map. This is a round for Misfits through and through.
Well, that's going to be 4. As Haze is, I imagine, maybe try to scurry to the op, perhaps. Maybe try to get something other than his FAMAS. But he is going to try to stay alive over everything else. As Misfits will start to build their own little bank here. It's starting to get a little out of hand. As after this... Some players, they'll be pretty loaded. They'll have cash on the board. As Haze, they hear death are running near him. That's Ominek thinking about pushing in towards TV room. But for now, Haze is just going to sit here. But Misfits, you know, they're looking good once they get rifles out on their T side. The pistol strat was legit. It picked up the pistol round. And from here on out, their rifle rounds have been just really clean for Misfits. Getting the entries pretty unanswered from OpTic Gaming. Now, against Splice, their sight holds is what really stood out for me. The double ops that can get shut down, but also players from OpTic on the site individually finding multi-frags every single time when the executions have come through from Splice. But so far, Misfits spacing has been better than, well, Splice's I'm comparing, and their utility usage has been on point to separate and make it difficult for the defenders.
A soul rifle held onto here for OpTic, thanks to the save of Hazed. 3 P250s and an USP. Absolute bare bones minimum. Devaduvic going to get pressured into Palace, and he actually drops down. So that's going to be a smoke grenade and an AK retrieved until Sean Garrett with the MAC-10 finds himself ahead to pop. Nafly just going to tuck himself into the corner, and since Sean doesn't control the guns, Nafly grabs the MAC-10. So not exactly what he was hoping for, seeing as what initially dropped, but it's at least enough to fall back with. Sick, meanwhile, has found his way up through connector, so he's hoping to catch these CTs rotating outwards. Smoke grenade to the top of connector is going to leave him on his lonesome. Untradeable spot, but he still gets the drop onto the head of Hazed. Naf to the back of CT spawn does still have the MAC-10. That's the only primary in hand here for OpTic, what should be a round for Misfits.
Yeah, Sick single-handedly clearing the site. Here's the tick of the molly. Calls for his teammates over. That nade. Now, Nafly sees it come and even gets caught on the box. So a re-molly will come in. Shazam's going to molly it. even pop some up shots towards it, but it looks like this is going to be Misfits 5, OpTic Gaming. And this is the farm setup. This is the we're going to play for exits. Please come and hunt us. As sick, did he spot the foot of Nafly? He didn't. So Nafly, not the biggest feat in the world. Sean Gare's going for the spray. It's a bit off the mark. We can see a little bit more to the left as Nafly's going to peek on the back of it. Good bait from Sean Gare's, as I think he has a pretty good idea of what OpTic Gaming are up to here.
Rush continues to cower. Time is ticking quickly, and Sean Gares snubs him out. So Rush, the last to fall. Everybody on the side of OpTic gets cleared out this round, and Misfits keep 4 guns standing. That's a great way to continue garnishing this economy, but you consider the fact that already 4 players are sitting above $10,000. Misfits are going to have cash for days. OpTic are going to afford themselves the double op setup. Mixwell and Tarek. This is what we saw versus Splice. We brought it up, you and I, Seaside, time and time again, just because of how convincing it really was. Hopefully, for the sake of the viewers at home, OpTic will shine through yet again with opping prowess. Mixwell has no Kevlar, however. Glass cannon, as Tarek will have some to play off of. Misfits playing passively, just setting themselves into the standard set. They don't want to just take any kind of early aggression, but rather push Amanek towards underpass instead. So he's going to be that late lurk through middle, with the core of Misfits coming in through A. With all the utility that they still hang on to, it can be the standard execution, and Hazed is looking to throw a wrench in the works.
Now, I like this. They hear the smoke bloom, and they're not going to be ready for Haze. Even on the pot, gives a different height to his advantage here. Even if you come around the corner with your crosshair and headshot level, Haze is playing the long game. He's going to hear the smoke, sees the shadows. He's ready for his flash, but instead, he looks away thinking Misfits would be ready for that and throw a flash. And that's his downfall. But Mixwell has his back, and Nafly is still default. As they're going to try to get out. Devek not ready for Nafly to peek from default, and Mixwell has his back. They spot the bomb, and Shazam's alone towards Tetris, and that's where he will lie. And Nafly is going to swing again. And that is going to be OpTic Gaming at 4. The ops come out, and Mixwell shows you how prevalent he really is with it.
I think he is in his best form when he does play that op, but he has also just publicly stated that he doesn't enjoy it. He puts his team ahead of him and does seem to pick it up as the primary, but now that we're seeing Tarek op more commonly, now that Nafly has been shining through as well, maybe they are going to get a little more ambiguous with their roles, which is always fun to see. That allows you, of course, to play to the strength of spawns. You can change things up on the fly and keep yourself fresh. So they've done it. OpTic Gaming, after the 3 rounds at the beginning of the 4 consecutive from Misfits, they have responded back, but they have to avoid the reset. Misfits, again, have so much cash left over in their bank accounts that they buy into this one and still have so much money left over. The same cannot be said for OpTic.
Devek back towards Palace, holding for any pushes. Meanwhile, Misfits will have 2 players towards top mid. Misfits just work at safe default. Nothing too risky coming out right now. You can see how safe Devek's being. Not even holding for the typical peek. He's holding for the push. And Shazam is going to take the peek towards top mid. Rush is just working himself over towards his murder hole as the smoke will land from the B player. That's Amanek smoke towards Catwalk. But Mixwell's going to turn up. Ascaris will pick up the op and jump into the peek, and Mixwell's going to deny it. Bomb goes down. They spot that player getting up connector. And Mixwell is just sitting here. No reason to move. Just going to hold the angle. Nice shot on Sick. That's 3 as he shuts down mid control single-handedly. As that should be his teammate cleaning up Amanek, and it will be. Devek's even tagged down to 15. This is all OG, and Mixo on the op is showing you how well he can really work that CT again and again.
Yeah, dodging the hard reset's going to be a fantastic spot for OpTic, but we can't count Misfits out just because of the success they had in those 4 rounds. They were able to build such a bank account that they are going to be able to buy regardless of if Devek lives through this one. Nafly's towards the top of mid, so he could go hunting once time expires. He spots him, and he will kill him preemptively. So there is still the money for Devek, but not the AK moving forward. Again, great moment for OpTic here, as they have not only put 2 rounds back onto the board, but keep their players alive, 4 of which still standing at the end of that one. This is a prime position to now turn the CT side on its head. We have watched first halves from OpTic just fall short on both cash and train. This is a very real chance for them to actually walk away with a substantial lead. But again, Misfits has so much cash that they need to keep this up. They need at least another 1 or 2.
gonna walk through the smoke, shut down from Sean Gares the spray into the popular corner there in connector, and Mixwell's not happy about it. That is a popular spray spot from Sean Gares, as that's one way to start the round off for Misfits. Sick now is gonna push up towards connector. Amnek again throwing that catwalk smoke for his teammates from B as he walks towards underpass. Davidovek's gonna slowly work, but look at Sick. The movement here to slowly get up in towards jungle, clean the window player. Davidovek's gonna move. And Hayes is pushed in towards A ramp. They know Hayes is a A player, so they have to be assuming some aggression came out.
Yeah, you can see how Sick keeps his eyes towards it. Hayes is going to come barreling forward as the Molotov pops at his feet, and Tarek reveals himself on catwalk. Last man standing takes a bottle to the face, and will just start to tuck tail. He wants to save this, but he's going to get caught out. The shot goes astray, and Amanek still standing as Tarek is as well. 14 health, he's got him pinched, but Amanek takes the frag. And Misfits are able to put another one onto the board, keeping their money fine. And while OpTic themselves still have cash to play off of, they're still in a difficult spot. The threat of being reset is ever so real, and the threat of giving up the first half to Misfits is also there for them.
UMP, a FAMAS, Mixwell still with the ops, so they still have that powerhouse in play. Shazam is going to be smoked off to start this round off, but it looks like a very heavy A setup now for Misfits right off the get-go. They have Amanek going towards mid, and he's shut down already. Mixwell playing just top connector. He's waiting and begging for a peek to come through, but the flashes are good from Misfits. They're on the mark. Mixwell's yet to be unblind since they started raining in. And that Molly's going to go deep jungle, put out by their own smoke. Now, they need some more smokes here. They have one jungle, one site, but they're just giving so much opportunity to all these OpTic Gaming members to keep peeking and keep finding frags, as it's Shazam in a 1v4. He's brought it to a 1v3. Now, how many players can he catch peeking?
I mean, here's the thing. All three players for OpTic in the same direction, so it won't take many re-peeks. He's going to spot the first. Rush's position is known, but now Shazam reveals himself, and Mixwell's already posted. So that's a great positioning from Mixwell, just trying to bait out the peek. And Rush does exactly that. Shazam will get caught. OpTic tie things up back at 6. And this is very reminiscent to Cash, where we saw a very back-and-forth type game, where ultimately Misfits walked away with the 8-7 lead at the end of the first. So luckily for Misfits, despite the hard reset, they are going to have cash left over, and they can go for the buys. So that was spree of 4 rounds earlier on is really paying off for them. It's kept their economy and buys quite consistent, which has really just been the saving grace. You can argue that despite OpTic's recent success, Misfits has still had better cash flow. 1 op per team here, as Mixwell versus Shazam could get rolling. Shaz is over here towards the apartments. Tarek with a forward smoke keeps himself tucked away. And Misfits are content with just sitting. They want the smoke grenades to fade. There'll still be a minute on the clock by that time. And they can just wait things out.
Sandwich Molly from Davidovek. Shazam's looking for a peek towards B now. Tark, I think he did just jump and made some noise. I'm not too sure if they heard it, but Tark will still get a frag down to 46 HP. He's waiting for some help. That deep Molly will give him some time to piece out, and he will capitalize on that. Shazam, a good flash coming in from the OpTic Gaming members team, Tark's teammate on site, to just not allow Shazam to be finding that frag onto Tark, as he just scurries his way out, asks for the boost onto single box. As Rush is contemplating a rotate back. Now, Misfits are going to start to slowly gain a little bit of mid-control with that push towards underpass, but they're slowly on their way back towards B. And OpTic Gaming really don't have any reason to rotate these players off yet. There's nothing else going on across the map.
Just going to come down to holding off the execution. If Shazam can find one player before they start pushing, that would be fantastic. Tarek, of course, is boosted up on site, so an unorthodox spot could keep him alive and take Misfits by surprise. Rush gonna have to draw attention away from this, and he hits himself. No, Mixwell finds the shot to Sean. Shazam, fully blind, gets his head popped as Davidovek trades it with one. Sick will take Tarek, but Nav comes jumping out, only to die, and OpTic will win based on time. Time is of the essence. You can get all the kills in the world, but that's gonna be the clock deciding. OpTic hits the lead. 1 point to their favor over Misfits, and finally the cash flow comes to an end. Misfits, of course, at this point gonna have 2 points of round loss bonus, but it is Tech9s and a Deagle for the 14th.
Amanek buys down to 0 just due to the lack of cash he has. This will just expend everything he's got. Misfits going to be saving for that final buy in round 15 of this half. And again, Tarek's going to get aggressive. We've seen this in the previous round with an MP9. He's going to do it again with an M4. Knowing he has good support from Rush in this situation, we can do the exact same thing where a Molly and a Flash will save him. As Nafly, in connector, he gets shot from his teammate, but still prevails on Sick, as a spray through the smoke is good for some damage. And there's Rush towards B, pushing up towards Catwalk, finding some frags, finding some damage. Will find Shazam, and that's the bomb. As he takes shots from the final player, that's Devaduvek, and Rush will put him into an early grave, 8-6. And have OpTic kind of turn this around. The mid portion of this beginning half was looking good for Misfits. Then OpTic Gaming, the double ops come out, they start hitting shots. Mixwell's op has just been an anchor, and even with Hayes being quiet, it's been enough to shut down Misfits.
I feel like this is almost a near mirrored start to what we saw on Cash, where OpTic came into life at the end of the first half. Of course, at that point, we still saw Misfits squeak away those last 2 rounds and take the 8-7. This time, it's OpTic already ensured a lead. Whether or not it's by another point, that'll be the question. So at least Misfits come into this one with a buy. Amanek will be limited, that of course being because he bought up heavily into the last, spent his $15 of cash. At least he still has utilities. So enough smokes here for the T side to go for a wall on either bomb site. They do actually put a player committed towards Palace. That's Devaduvek, just tucked away in the corner and trying to keep aggression honest. Mixwell with the op, trying to find angles on mid, but timing is ever so finicky, and he gives it up. Now, as he re-peaks, Sick holds him in, but that's not going to stop him. Mixwell hits the first, the flick goes astray. More targets present themselves, and Nafly bails him out. Amanek through the smoke, finding 2, as Mixwell's also dealt with. Rush and Tarek coming in from Catwalk, gonna boost Tarek over. This could give him an angle towards the players of Misfits, who are boosting themselves into window. Looks like they want to pinch onto the A site, but Hayes has got himself towards ramp, and Tarek finds one frag. That's Shazam, and the bomb now down. 30 seconds left, and OpTic are going to take 9-6. A 3-point lead, and a substantial lead at that after the CT side of Mirage. Is this enough, C-side, to close it out, or can Misfits, for once, come back as OpTic have nearly done in the opening 2 maps?
It definitely could be enough. It's just, I don't know if Misfits have it in them to hold off the OpTic Gaming. We saw how relentless they were earlier. If you didn't see, they played Splice. They were just non-stop being relentless. And I don't know if they can continue that almost disrespectful, relentless play against Misfits. But in that previous round, he saw Shazam boosting that player into mid-window, and Shazam had the bomb, so it's a risky play to take without having any Catwalk control and not spotting Catwalk. And Shazam dying there ultimately was what lost him the round last second. Now going into this half, the players are going to take a deep breath, and I can't blame them, as we're waiting for 1 to ready up, and we'll jump right back into the action. And 6 rounds for Misfits all in all is not too bad, but once the ops came out, it's kind of the same story. OpTic just were on a little bit of a roll there.
Yeah, that's really what allowed for them to start putting rounds on the board, was that double op setup between Tarek and Mixwell. And again, that's what we saw earlier versus Splice. So OpTic not making too substantial of changes on their CT side in between games here. Of course, if we look at the amount of clutch rounds, there was only 1. So it has been quite convincing through and through, despite who takes the win. Regardless of the first half, the second is set to start. It is now OpTic Gaming on the T side with utility on NAF and Misfits on the defense. Sean Gares with the nades.
Well, Maxwell's going to push towards underpass. The smoke, mid-window will bloom, forces Shazam off a position. And he's going to beat this connector all day long, and that's what OpTic Gaming are banking on. But Shazam will hit the shot. Sick from Catwalk. Nafly not even checking it. No sound was made from Sick as he put himself in this position. And he's going for a second. We'll get Gushkin falls back. Spots Hayes as he jumps out of the window. Now it is Sean Gares alone. He's called for rotation, so Amanex in market. And it's all on Tarek. A 1v4 with his Glock. Bomb is even down in sight. And it's spottable from the Misfit players. As Tarek's going to try to work around. Has to worry about Catwalk. Has to worry about the flank. Little does he know, all 3 are in market. Here's Devaduvek jumping. Will get the shot on Shazam. And it is the 2 Frenchmen standing as Tarek. This is extremely doable for him.
42 health is a bit of a hindrance. At least he gets in the fresh mag. Now he knows that Amanek comes out, and that's a team flash that could cost him. The shot goes astray. Both CTs are here and trying to take the fights. They will come out on top, and Misfits take the pistol. OpTic Gaming just gets shut down early on. Looked like Tarek kind of could have brought things back, but ultimately it is too much to ask of him. And so Misfits starting to close that distance already. Now, we can't get ahead of ourselves, Seaside. We saw Misfits pick up the opening pistol, only to get reset in the next. So can OpTic get this done? They opt not to buy.
Nafly goes for the opening Deagle pick. Not going to find anything. 3 FAMASs and 2 UMPs. It's kind of what you like to see instead of a couple M4s and just all UMPs back in the day. Although I say back in the day, it wasn't that long ago when that used to be a thing. I like the more FAMASs coming out. We talked about it early in the day. It shows diversity, it shows the ump nerf, and it shows the long-range potential of the FAMAS. And that makes me happy. Shazam playing towards Catwalk, gets himself in towards the ladder room. Very safe from Misfits all across the board, not too much aggression. They're playing retake A with a player in CT, a player not even playing window room anymore, just for the fact that they can push underpass and catch him off guard. He's playing murder hole. So very safe for Misfits across the map. With the exception, I suppose, to Shazam.
Headshot from Shaz, gonna fall back immediately, so does not want to expend his life. Smokes off the apartments as well, before tucking all the way back towards middle. Now, speaking of middle, Rush does have himself towards the bottom of mid, and he could call for the boost into the windowsill, but instead that bomb starts to just squeak its way up Catwalk, so they almost read into this, knowing that Shazam's retreated back. This could leave it to the 2-2 split coming into the B site. The CTs have no clue it's this close. That's going to be Amanek now revealing things. Sean Gare boosted up, Shazam with another, so what could have been a threat is quickly quelled. Mixwell's all that's left.
Nice shot, but shut down from Sean Gares. Mixwell will fall 9-8 now. Within 1 round is Misfits. They string the 2 rounds together after the winning pistol. And there is still no bomb plant for OpTic, so they won't be able to buy here. We could see some upgraded pistols, but from what I'm looking at right now, Tark and Mixwell, they could be going for the double op setup right away, right off the get-go on the T side. Now, that would be an interesting prospect, as Hayes will buy a smoke and a flash. Mixwell and Tarek will both just buy P250s, and with NAF, Rush will go for more of a heavy pistol with the TAC-9, as it looks like a bomb plant is really what OpTic Gaming are chasing here.
The frag stack goes towards the back of Apps, but comes up quite empty-handed. Mixwell's just going to start to lead this out. He goes down first and foremost. Nafly with a quick trade onto the site, but Amanek is still there. Tarek topples him as Shazam will find another. So Naf's going to get this bomb plant in. Tarek goes down, and that leaves it just to the 1v3. Sitting on the P250, you could not ask for much, but that's still a good round for OpTic. They just simply barrel themselves into the site. They take 2 kills and boost up their economy with a plant as well. So it is a win-win situation for both teams, and now we're tied at 9-9.
Tied at 9s, and they elect not to go for the double op right off the get-go. Mixwell will be the lone ranger here with that in his hands. We'll take a look at the spawn he had. So it is a mid-pickable spawn. And it looks like he is going to be on his way here. Let's see. Well, jump off of him. That's all right. There's a smoke top mid as Amanek going to try to get some shots through. Dev2Vex and Connector. We're flying everywhere, but that's okay as the smoke's going to come in towards mid-window. Hayes getting ready to push down towards close Connector. He's going to slowly work up a missed molly. They're going to go on the back of a flash, you think, hit. Frickin' Mixwell will trade effectively for OpTic Gaming as it's just all OG towards the mid as Shazam's alone now. And OpTic will find the required picks towards mid. Misfits move on a flash they thought connected, but it didn't whatsoever.
OpTic with a convincing round, so here we go, yet again. Back into contention early on for the T side of OpTic. Now, their first half, we start really get rolling towards the later portion. Not this early, which could spell disaster for the Misfits. However, Misfits coming into this with a buy of their own. Double op setup again for the CT side. This time it's Shazam and Amanek, someone that I haven't seen op all too often. Shaz gets smoked off of the windowsill, so he retreats back through the jungle. Meanwhile, the T side take mid for free. Sean Gares coming up towards Catwalk, wants to try and contest this, but he's already given up the angle, so OpTic lie in wait.
Shazam top connector. Not gonna land anything through the smoke. As the bomb gets left towards Catwalk, Hayes gonna push up. There's a molly there, and he has to wait to dissipate as he will gain ladder room control. And Shazam is still hanging around towards mid window with his op. Gonna fall off and just hold murder hole from market. But look at Nafly. He has snuck all his way up towards connector. And Misfits have one player push. That is sick, I believe. Pushed all the way out towards Palace. He lines up one and cleans up Mixwell, and he is going to fall away for at least for free for now. So info gain for Misfits. Spot the bomb and get a frag. Nafly holding for 6 exit, and he will just tap him in the next round. And right now it is just Devo Devek alone on triple.
Tarek's got his cross to the Tetris, though. That's where Shaz chimes in with one more frag. Tarek takes the trade, though. That's a man off of the site. As Nafly comes to support, Shaz will take him down. Hayes trying to get away from Catwalk, has players nipping at his heels. It is the man advantage for Misfits to hang on to, but time is of the essence. We saw it cost OpTic earlier. Sean Gares comes out from ramp. Now Tarek's planted the bomb, but Sean quickly drops him, so Hayes is all that remains in a 1v3. That is a decoy towards Catwalk that he's currently watching. Sean's going to cross out towards the bomb. It's not the op, but rather an AK at a distance. Amanek revealing himself from the window, distracts as Sean tries to stick the bomb, and that's where Shazam will find the angle. Misfits take the retake and the 10th round to their favor. It is 10-10, and these ties continue.
Did you just notice what Shazam... Okay, that got really scary. I'm like, oh no, Shazam. He dropped his op, picked up the AK, and I thought he meant to hold on to it, but then he dropped it, and he started sprinting for the second op. I didn't think he had time, but he's able to make it in window room. So Misfits do get the double ops back. Good 3K for Shazam. Amanek will be wielding the second, just like it was on Train. It's OpTic Gaming. We'll spend a fair bit of their cash, majority of it, to be honest with you, here in round 21, as we have 10s across the board. And Omnek going for the opening pick, and Mixwell, one of the better opters in NA, will rip Omnek's head clean off. A good opener as he's looking for more. Sean Gares is blind, and he may be calling for help soon, but OG just going to fall off. Hazed up Catwalk, and now they're going to regress. Both opening frags are there.
And done is the defense at the B site for Misfits. Shazam finding something for Misfits to walk away with, but already this save has been called, and it's going to be OpTic now moving to 11. So the CT side now hitting the reset. Again, we're going to get this back and forth fashion of rounds. Sure enough, pistol and conversions to the CT's favor. OpTic find the first gun just to get reset, or so we think. 4 players moving in at this as well. That's going to be icing on the cake. It's not just the 2-man up per team. Despite Mixwell and Hayes being heavily lit, they were the 2 players to find the 3 frags. So they get their job done and stay standing as well. Devaduvic and Shazam cowering towards Palace. Sure, they get to move these guns forward, but it is going to be a lackluster buy from Misfits in the next.
And this is kind of the aggression from OpTic Gaming we're talking about. They get the opening frag. They have a guy already up Catwalk. Misfits not spotting that, not ready for it. And Hayes just opens up the site, and OpTic Gaming just fully commit behind it. That's the power that OpTic Gaming bring to these executions, to the opening pick ability of Mixwell when he gets the op. And it's just starting to tilt in OpTic's favor. Although this half has been good for Misfits. They win the initial 3, get put back down, and they win round 20 just to get reset. Now, they do buy into this one with the op on Shazam. They get the M4, the WMP, and CZ. So they save a couple weapons. They buy up on the rest. And it's very patchy. But this is doable, especially with Shazam as he turns up and gets the first. That's what you like to see, as Shazam needs to start to heat up a little bit more than he is already.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to relying on smoke, so they have to get aggressive, and that's a great opening pick for them. But Hayes is able to get the counter back for OpTic, and Nafly on the other side of the smoke catches the noggin of Devaduvic. So, man advantage held onto by the T side, but only ever so slightly. 37 combined health between Nafly and Hazed. They are trying to get into the A site, and they might find it for free, but Amanek's going to be in a very interesting position for this retake.
That flies on 3 HP. Now, we may see Rush just stay in connector this whole time, as I don't know if they're ready for Amanek's position. Hayes is going to try to plant the bomb, and no one's holding for it. They've doubled up in connector, Nafly playing ramp, and the jump up couldn't have had better timing, as a 3 HP player will find him. Shazam and Sean Gares, I think this is just an instant save call as soon as Amanek goes down there without a frag. So Sean Gares is going to try to find a rifle for his issues, try to find one for his troubles, try to make this round at least salvageable for him, at least, Shazam would love to hold on to the op. OpTic Gaming will get 12. And this is going to be Misfits only on 2-round loss. That's $1,900. And buying into this, $1,900 is not that much on top of what they have right now.
So again, one of these situations where 2 players for Misfits are going to stay standing, but it's going to leave them once more at the clear disadvantage. OpTic Gaming going to have a real chance of getting close to the finish line. We can't count Misfits out. Maybe once their economy is rolling, they're able to grab another round and contest this, but this is a surefire opportunity for OpTic to assert themselves and at least get that much closer. Again, the money here for the T side is just looking fantastic. Mid 5,000 for 4, $500 on Tarek, but he's already bought up, so that's not an issue. It is pistols only for Misfits, barring Shazam on the Catalyst op. Can he shine through on an individual level to keep Misfits in this?
Hayes is lining up a smoke, and Shazam already has the opener. That's good for being the only rifle into this one. And Mixwell, though, is going to put him down towards stairs. Even holds for the close push. I have no clue how they didn't find the frag all by its own. It requires some help from Nafly, who finds a flick on a Devoduvek. Sean Gears alone at default came down to a one-on-one. As Nafly, though, gets a 4K. Eerily close for Misfits. As they go for the stack, Shazam gets one. Sean Gears does a nice job of working around default. But that came really close. And actually, I think Mixwell's pointing out what happened there. His shot went through the wall, the corner. That was very eerie.
It's always such a gamble to just barrel into the A site when you know you're versus pistols. Very common for CTs to just stack that bomb site, try to get up close and personal, and that's exactly what happened. So if it wasn't for Nafly to bail OpTic out with that 4K, who knows what could have happened. Maybe Misfits hit 11. Regardless, they are back onto the guns, the CT with some weaponry, but Sick will take the opener. That's a headshot onto Mixwell.
Great start for Misfits. We'll see if they can keep this rolling, keep the ball going. They definitely need a couple clean ones, as OpTic Gaming have done a nice job of just snaking around lately. Devoduvek is going to be underneath towards porch, or under balcony, excuse me. As his Nafly just walks out by himself, his teammates are heading towards B. He makes that play due to them having little to no map control towards mid, being a man down and not having too much info what's going on. If he can walk out, find a frag, and peace out, then that's good for OpTic Gaming. Instead, now they're 2-man down. They still have execution potential, but they're out of smokes. They have mollies and flashes. They have to rely on aim and a misstep for Misfits somewhere along the way.
Could still give OpTic a bit of an opener towards the B site, but Amanek actually catches Tarek on his push-up from the catwalk. Sick drops the bomb, and Rush swings it back with a headshot of his own, but it is sealed. Amanek and Sean taking those last 2 frags. So here is Misfits now only 2 rounds back from OpTic. Again, an incredibly close game. All 3 maps have been like this, just back and forth, time and time again. And luckily for OpTic, they will still have enough cash to buy into. Mixwell will have enough to drop Tarek, who is the only player struggling. And of course, if Misfits are able to win this one, then the OpTic side will be at a loss economically. Misfits being fully invested. There is so much on the line here in the 25th round.
So much on the line, and Devoduvek is feeling risky enough to go for that aggressive top mid push. Tarek is just kind of banking and hoping that they go for this peek on towards him, having help from Mixwell. The bomb is down by T-spawn, so OpTic just going to work a safe default. You can see they're waiting for mid pushes, waiting for aggression from B. Same goes for the side of A. Just waiting for Misfits to go for some aggression, which they've elected to do so in the previous rounds. So it would be no surprise if OpTic Gaming catch someone overstepping here from Misfits. As Devoduvek gets a smoke over towards A ramp, sits underneath balcony. He has support from Shazam and CT, the deadly force of the op he's been so far. We'll see if he's going to continue that or re-smoke towards A ramp. And nothing would surprise me if OpTic Gaming decided to go through this and not Nafly in towards Palace. He's getting ready to slowly move forward himself.
Devoduvek in a powerful position here as the T side comes in. He hits Hayes before he even walks through the smoke. Devoduvek with a second and a third. But Tarek able to drop it back with 2 frags of his own, leaves the CT to only a 2-man advantage because Nafly is all that's left. Shazam's off on the site. Amanek's here to support, but that's it. Misfits obliterate OpTic's aggression. Sure, Tarek swings it with a couple kills of his own, but that is Misfits now 1 short of a tie game and OpTic back on pistols.
That's what you like to see, a great hold for Misfits. They didn't. They were just holding their sights, didn't get aggressive themselves, shut down OpTic as they see the smokes raining in. And OpTic gonna have to go for upgraded pistols on round 26. You can see Sick realizes this, and he's even willing to buy a farm gun, try to put some cash on the board, as there's no armor for OpTic. Their goal is to get this round win, but ultimately a bomb plant they'd be content with. $800 more would really bolster that next round buy, as Misfits are looking like they're more than likely going to tie this up at 13s apiece. Tarek's going to molly underneath balcony, and they're going to go. Devaduvek through the smoke will deal some damage, but not enough to take anyone down. As he is just going to play around these smokes. There's a miss smoke if you can see it up there, up on that building, but Hayes ends up getting the first one in this round, and that's an op. This actually is, you know, they can push this into something.
Sick's going to be coming on the quick flank, though, and he will get caught by the man in Palace, tagged to 29. It is still the man advantage for OpTic, and the CTs need this retake. 3 players over towards jungle, though. That might be unpredicted. Nafly with a Glock from afar is going to find one as Rush will take another. Amanek, though, he's on the bomb. He's trying to stick this in the smoke, but now he's down, and Devaduvik 1v5 is not going to come up big. It is OpTic with bare bones minimum, pushing this to 14 on the board. Misfits back to 12, and they actually get one that they have no business winning. It puts the economy of Misfits in an incredibly awkward spot. They're going to force buy regardless and try to deny OT, but OpTic might have just put themselves in victory lane based off of a crazy push from A-Ramp.
That is so absurd. They do a wall of smokes on the site, get the bomb planted, and push jungle and push connector. They get the op, they find another frag, they get rifles, and next thing you know, all 5 players from OpTic stay alive. That's actually crazy how that worked out. It's Shazam now gonna go for the opening pick. OpTic Gaming, that may be just the final nail in the coffin, the depressing nail that just pushes Misfits back down, and OpTic Gaming reigns supreme as Rush working his way from underpass. Misfits have 2 UMPs, an M4 at 5.7, and just a glass cannon up to work with, and they're running out of utility as fast as they bought it.
3 players, bomb included, trying to come up from connector. Amanek on the receiving side. Flashbang goes in, and it allows him to line up all 3. Amanek, thanks to the team flash, is going to clear out connector, grab the bomb control, and put Misfits back on the board. Devaduvik with a 4th, and not a single frag here for OpTic as Rush is in a 1v5.
How the tides will turn. One good flash, the lone M4, and he finds 3, picks up the op, and gets the 4th. Just individual play now is what Misfits are going for there. Amanek all by himself will clean up OpTic. They will say, just smash the green wall into towards connector. And Misfits are now within 1. OpTic Gaming are going to buy here. Not much money on Hayes and Nafly, but 2 AKs in an op is what they will be rocking with. As this game starts to spiral down, both teams so back and forth right now.
What more could we ask for than a fantastic final map to this series? Tarek trying to duel versus the Opera on the B site is going to come up empty-handed, and he has to fall back already. So the entirety of OpTic, barring Nafly, go towards apps at the beginning portion of this round. Now they're going to start to filter themselves back towards middle, and there is no contest from Misfits. They've got 2 players sitting over there towards connector, and they just lie in wait.
Unreal. OpTic will get mid-control. Sick is going to play on top of this smoke. Rush is working towards underpass. As the clock starts to tick down, Sick has to be a little nervous, and he knows that odds are OpTic are close to him, so he's just going to back up. Devaduvik will get himself towards balcony. Shazam is still there with the op and CT, no surprise, and Misfits are peeking in towards B apps. So they have an idea that's clear. If you can see where Sean Gares is, he's allowing Amanek to hold this with the op, look towards catwalk. That's a strong setup as Hayes gets himself in towards connector. You can see Rush is falling back, so this is going to be a commitment from OpTic Gaming. They're pulling Mixwell over. He's currently towards the ladder room of all places. So OpTic Gaming have map control, and they are ready to just collapse on this A side at a moment's notice.
Again, they're going to be trying to come out from ramp. Hayes trying to clear out the jungle. Will catch Sick thanks to the pistol. Shazam towards Ticket, and Hayes with another frag. Coming to life is this IGL. Shazam with the op, able to grab one frag, so the offense yet to plant this bomb, and Shaz still standing, but it's Mixwell with a kill to Amanek. That secures cat control, so screw planting for CP spawn. Just put this one in the pocket of Mixwell. Nafly gonna fall back inside of the ramp. He keeps his eyes towards flank. Shazam and Sean Gares in a 2 versus 4, or else OT is all they'll be fighting for.
The decoy flash. Shazam takes the bait. He's trying to get out of there right into Mixwell holding market. That op's not getting carried over. They have no cash for it. I mean, Sean Gares may have cash for it, but I doubt he's going to throw it over and sacrifice armor for himself. And Sean Gares is going to try to save this AK. Now, if he can do that, I don't know if... I mean, Misfits are going to buy. This is going to be 15 for OpTic, so the buy for Misfits... I mean, you're going to not see much out from Shazam unless Sean Gares stays alive, and he will. So the AK carried over. Now, we could see the op bot from Sean Gares, and he buys nothing else. He can just rock out with a 1 molly, get the op out. You've seen Shazam had moments of genius with it before, and that's going to be the play. So it's critical Sean Gares stayed alive. If the op from Shazam goes off, you have Sean Gares to thank for that. As 2 UMPs comes out, Famas gets bought up, and Sean Gares is even willing to give the AK to Amanek, who's been having a hell of a game, hell of a CT side. And this game just dives ever deeper into it, as Misfits need 2, and OpTic Gaming just need the lone 1.
Devaduvic's trying to get aggressive here. Rush will be spotted, but it doesn't mean he's down, and he takes himself the second. Sick now traded back thanks to Shazam, who's going to flash himself for a further peek, but instead decides to hide. And that's a great call. Gives time for the rest of his team to rotate over. Amanek's trying to come in from spawn here, and he will catch Hayes with a grenade in hand. 3 versus 2 for Misfits. This retake is possible.
Bomb is ticking. There's a kid on Shazam. Tark is holding this on. Amanek baits it out. And there's going to be utility thrown towards a ramp. Tark has to push out. There's a smoke and a player sandwich. Rush gets one, immediately traded, and it's all on Tark. Can he win it for OG? And no. Shazam shuts it down. He has a kit and plenty of time to defuse. Double ops picked up for Misfits. They're on 14, and we go the distance once again. This time on Mirage. Round 30, here we come. And look at the money on OpTic Gaming. We are talking 3 AKs. We're talking barely any utility. We're seeing Rush and Hayes on pistols or UMPs, depending what they want. This one is going to probably go the distance again.
Definitely a good enough buy, though, for OpTic. We've seen them already do much more with much less. Glocks at one point, all they had as they went charging into the A site, and it looks like that's the bread and butter of this T side. They're going to set themselves up for the smokes once more. Sick will get sectioned off. Devaduvic towards the CT spawn, and lots of blinding flashes allows for Sick to take the opener and move up towards the stairs. Still Rush trying to barrel forward. Down he goes. Sick's going to get traded out thanks to Naf. And now Mixwell trying to clear the site, but the smoke's beginning to fade, and the vision obscured all across this. Another decoy deploys towards the site. That's not a smoke for cover, and immediately things slow down. OpTic, to the man disadvantage, Misfits yet to rotate everyone over. They do leave Amanek over on Catwalk thanks to his op. Double op setup still standing on Misfits. No utility except for Nafly's Molotov. OpTic Gaming have been boxed in. This is the only amount of map control they were afforded, and now they need to find something to do with it. Shazam's been spotted and tagged ever slightly, but Nafly still falls back.
I don't know how I feel about this from OpTic. They go for the full-blown execution. They get 1 frag, they lose 2, and then they fall back because bomb is left outside a ramp. And then they kind of bait rotations out, hopefully, as Nafly jumping to try to catch Shazam. Not today. Shazam's going to fall back as this bomb is going to go down. So OpTic do get to sight for only having 1 molly. And Shazam's gonna allow to repeat. Tarek, he's taking that face with Bomb and a Galil as Devaduvic about to swing and shut down for Mixwell, and it's Mixwell to cover the planner. He finds 2, and it's all on Amanek in a 1v3, and this might be it.
He's going to be trying the retake. He's already fired the shot, so they know exactly where he is. Amanek coming close, hits the first. That's Napfly down, but Tarek takes it, and OpTic Gaming will be the CyberPower Spring Invitational Grand Champions. 3 maps Seaside, all of which go 30 regulation rounds. The second goes into overtime, and it does not stop OpTic from prevailing. They walk away with the win. It could have been 2-0, but Misfits put up one hell of a fight and give us a fantastic grand finals.
Yeah, we couldn't have asked for a better finals. OT on second map. Cash was very close, 16-14. The train went to OT. May have been a clean sweep in OT, but we got it the first time in OT so far throughout this entire bracket we've had. And then the grand final, the final match, the final map in the BO3, the grand final. And it comes ever so close as OpTic Gaming will reign supreme. The Green Wall will be your champions. And I can't say anything else than just it kind of summarizes the whole tournament when you end with the best CS you've seen, and you know that you have isolated it down to 2 of the best teams and 2 of the best performers, and we just saw why.
Yeah, that's exactly what we had hoped for. We'd hoped for those 2 teams who we assumed as the best to move all the way in, and then they gave us one hell of a showing here in the grand finals. So done and dusted is this tournament, and OpTic walk away as your champions. Now, this opens doors up, because if we think of the one-off CEVO tournaments, well, of course, it was generally Cloud9 who walks away their victor. And back at the iBuyPower Invitational, it was an OpTic Cloud9 Grand Finals where Cloud9 get the best of them. So with Cloud9 being occupied with DreamHack Summer, OpTic now reigns supreme. They walk away with their win, and we will see what happens in the next iteration of these tournaments to see if that clash does happen. It would be fantastic to watch. But this, of course, is the rundown for the tournament this weekend. We have the semifinals of OpTic versus Splice. It is 2 O's all across the board, except for Splice versus Complexity, and then the upset of Ghost over Luminosity. But in the end, again, another barn burner. It goes the distance, and OpTic walk away with the win.
It's an unreal, great tournament. I'd like to take this time to thank everyone for tuning in throughout the entire weekend. It's been a superb time with you guys. And one more time, we are going to plug the giveaway, cyberpowerpc.cevo.com/giveaway.